Last time on Square Roots, we court immigrants for our new town, we give an alchemist a makeover, and we meet a real gorilla. Later, Garl is mortally injured, which, to be fair, is exactly what everyone has been saying would happen if you went on the Solstice quest. You're not meant for glory, boy. Get back in the kitchen where you belong.
I like that Vanessa pronounces Garl. Garl?
How would you pronounce it?
Garl.
I say it delightfully.
You really straight, like, Garl.
Carl?
That's how I say
That makes
your
sense.
name too, Jam.
Hi, Garl. How you doing, Garland?
Hey, everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hey, yo, must be Matthew.
John Wentworth Brandon.
That went worse than I thought it would.
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs one chunker at a time. This is part 4? 5?
7,000?
It's 5.
Five.
Part
It's
5,
five, buddy.
Of
5,
Sea
but
of
it feels
Stars.
like 10.
We've only got one more left after the 6 is like average for games that we do on
Game
the show.
feels longer than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
That's
That
an
is why.
absurd thing to say.
You feel longer than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Wink.
Oh.
I don't know how to take that. Is that a compliment, an insult?
There was a wink.
I'm really excited for this week's episode because
And that's how I know it's an insult.
At the end of it, we get to learn what Matt's secret next game is, which
What?
nobody
That's
knows but
true.
him.
Yes, finally.
You're all going to be so
Keeping it
disappointed.
Such a secret from us.
It's
Yeah.
going to be such a goddamn letdown.
Oh,
We'll learn
boy.
what the game is and why BioWare is canceled this year.
I think that partially the reason it's canceled this year is because you don't want to do notes right now.
I
Yeah.
want to do notes right now. I just
That is
did
part of it.
'em.
Also, we played all the good BioWare games. What's the fucking point
That's
anymore?
not true.
Dare you.
Jade Empire, Sonic
It's like,
Chronicles,
why would
The
you
Dark
celebrate
Brotherhood,
Christmas after about 12 years
Mass
old?
Effect,
Veilguard. We've definitely played
Veilguard.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Andromeda. I mean, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I would love to
Okay,
play
so
that.
the bad Mass Effect, the bad Dragon Age.
Hey, there was a whole
know-
third-person 3D Mass Effect that was on my phone one time. Do you ever play that one? It was like,
No. Do you play as Commander Shepard?
no, you play as some guy.
Commandant Field Hand.
Commandant some guy.
But it's lost media now, unless you pirate it. But even then, I don't know if it's available. I think it's just gone. You can't
I don't
play it
even know.
anymore.
Sad.
I don't know much about emulation, but I ain't never heard of emulating no phone games.
Oh, you
They've
can
just
definitely
started.
do it.
Yeah, they've just started with iOS phone emulation, but it's only at like 2008 or 2009.
I would imagine a lot of that technology is super locked down. Let's see.
You know what else is
You
super
guys-
locked down? The fact that we talk about hot gaming news at the beginning of every episode.
Nice segue,
Thank you.
bro.
Whoa. But I don't have any, so.
Yeah, it's no one did anything this week.
Yeah.
Someone must have done something.
No one did anything. It's
I don't
that
think
week
so.
between Christmas and New Year's when nobody does nothing.
Yeah,
Konami released an update that says they're still working on those games they said they were working on, so that's good. They have 2 Silent Hill games they're working on concurrently.
There's been a lot of Switch 2 rumors, and I just can't be bothered to discuss them. I don't care.
And plus, they've been going since like 2023 or
When
2022.
it does get announced, are you guys going to be excited about it?
I mean, I am excited for the Switch 2. I love the Switch. It's maybe my favorite console. Thing's fucking fantastic.
I hope that there's a new Animal Crossing announced in conjunction with the Switch
Ooh,
2.
yeah.
You would think there would be. That's probably a pretty fast way to sell those stupid little consoles.
100%. I guess the hottest gaming news is that it's 2025 now, and that means Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is coming out in the first half of this year.
Oh
Whoa.
man, that is optimistic.
I was bummed that there is a little bit of gaming news actually. They announced that State of Decay 3 is being pushed to 2026. So Johnny, the sequel to one of Johnny's favorite games, is not coming out this year.
I guess I also have sad. I'm sorry, Johnny. I guess I have seen somewhat related hot gaming news, which is that a court, I think in Florida, but maybe somewhere else, did allow the prosecution to use the MetaQuest 2 to make people live the crime in VR. And there are pictures floating around of the judge wearing the MetaQuest 2. It's weird, wild stuff.
Isn't that like brain dances in Cyberpunk?
Pretty much, yeah. That's where we're at now. Brain dances in Cyberpunk.
Oh, cool. Vanessa loved brain dancing in Cyberpunk.
It was my favorite part.
Because, well, yeah, it's like an adventure game. You have to scroll through and look for clues. River says you're doing great while he dreamily stares in your eyes.
Oh, River was so into me, and it was just a little bit awkward because I did have my secret best friend also in the room, you know? And generally, I think that you should, if you're bringing a third into a relationship, get everyone's consent, you know? Don't just have it be a secret.
Which person was River?
The
Was
cop.
the detective?
Yeah.
Oh. Did you guys play the Phantom Liberty
No,
expansion?
not yet.
So you didn't get a taste of
Idris
Elba?
No.
Idris Elba?
I did accidentally put my fingers inside a girl in
Excuse me?
Cyberpunk.
That is getting clipped.
Right. Well, I think that's it for
I
hot
just
gaming
thought it was
news.
like a
Nice.
flirty comment. It's like, yeah, I'm glad to be here with you too, or something. And then it just, those fingers just
Squish, squish, squish.
went.
Yeah. Squish, squish, squish.
Jim, Vanessa's trying hard to be the next Hawk Tua. She's got to find her sound.
The Hawk 2 has already been done. I don't think anybody's done a squish, squish. Well, you guys ready to talk about Sea of Stars?
No.
The video game?
No,
Why do we have to have this
because-
conversation every goddamn week?
Well, I think the fans
Didn't we
at
just
this
talk
point
about Sea of Stars
love,
last week?
love this conversation.
They love Matt's reluctance. It's like when you have the classic hero's journey, sometimes it's done in phases, and sometimes it's represented by different characters. And Matt represents the rejection of the call to action every time.
Pretty much all. Yeah, unless he's really drunk, and then he'll overly enthusiastically pursue the call to action.
I mean, maybe I am enthusiastically pursuing the call to action to get our listeners to check out our YouTube.
It's true.
Oh.
No, every fucking week you forget.
I
the
knew,
thing that
Matt.
we do.
I knew what you were doing.
You know what drives me nuts? We've got notes. It's right in front of you.
No, I have the camera full screen here, so
Oh, we forgot the thing that we
I'm touching
do.
you right now, Matt. You can't stop it.
That's okay. I'm gonna give you the biggest hug when we finally meet.
I
in
know,
real
I
life
haven't pulled
one
up
day.
right in front of my face.
I did that to Johnny. He was surprised, and I was like, why would you be surprised by that, bud? I freaking love you.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not gonna do that. I like you guys.
Matt, are you going to
Tolerate.
finish this week? Are you going to finish Illusion of Gaia?
Elysian. Hell yeah, baby. This week, the week this episode comes out, I will be finishing Illusion of Gaia.
I mean,
I am.
supposedly.
A skeptic
We'll see.
emerges.
Yeah, you've been talking about finishing this game since 2024, buddy.
Wow. You're right, guys. I'm a loser. I fail.
Oh,
I failed at finishing Illusion of Gaia. I failed it.
Now he's rejecting the call to action.
Is it a rejection to the call to action if someone makes you feel so bad about it that you don't want to do it anymore? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
It's not really a rejection so much as
Isn't that like the obstacle?
Yeah, Jim's the obstacle. I'm going to overcome you, Jim, and we'll finish Elysian of Gaia.
Is Vanessa the siren?
I don't think the siren. Let's see. Here's our faces. Call to adventure. Refusal of the call. Meeting the mentor. I don't think I'm the mentor.
No.
God,
Crossing
no.
the threshold. I might be the threshold.
Okay.
That seems
What are we talking about?
that seems pretty.
We talking about the hero's
presumptuous
journey?
of
Yeah.
you.
Am I test allies and enemies? I'm testing sometimes.
You're
The
enemies, that's for sure.
approach, I'm not the reward because no. And am I the road back? I don't think so.
No.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but I think I'm the threshold.
And
That's how I
in
feel.
Alan Wake 2, they called that the return, which is why that whole chapter is called the return.
Oh. I think I'm the Uncle Owen, and you're the Aunt Beru of Matt's hero's journey, Vanessa. So, unfortunately, we're going to be...
Dead.
Oh,
Smoke-
the hero's journey only refers to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be smoking skeletons.
John F. Campbell's famous characters, Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen.
Yeah, John F. Campbell, noted
what it
president.
What's his name then?
Joseph.
Joseph Campbell. John F. Joseph, pretty close. That's what I say.
Well, Joe
Bears
Kennedy
in
was-
games. Neo.
Wasn't Joe Kennedy John F. Kennedy's dad?
What?
Isn't that John F. Kennedy's dad, Joseph Kennedy?
Don't ask us
Yeah,
presidential history.
Yes. He was born in 1888 and died in 1969.
We're good
He
Americans.
was an American businessman and philanthropist.
Nice.
There's a Joe Kennedy III who's a politician and diplomat.
Oh, does his brother have brainworms?
That's probably his cousin.
All right, so Bears and Games. I did put out a secret video because YouTube was like, you should make a compilation video. And I was like, okay, YouTube, you know what you're talking about. So I put 5 of my.
Oh, did you release that?
Yeah, that's out. If you want to watch 3.5 hours of me talking about video games, go ahead. Unfortunately, since these videos are going back a year and a half, I did make a lot of ironic comments that aged poorly, like how we're all going to have to get ready for a second Biden term.
Ooh. That's called the cringe compilation.
That I think I was betting my number one game of 2024 is going to be Suicide Squad. And we're also excited for, what was the one that released for 10 days?
Concord.
Yeah, Concord.
You know what? That new Suicide Squad is coming to PS Plus, and guys, I'm gonna play it.
Go
Me
for
too.
it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
Can't wait
probably
to live
better
my
than you've
dream
heard.
of being the killer croc.
I want to be Boomerang.
I want to hang out with Baby Ivy.
Baby Ivy.
Excuse me, baby.
Yeah, Ivy's a baby in that game. Poison Ivy.
Oh.
Really?
Weird.
You don't even know what you're getting into. Bunch of clowns.
Is it
Is it
part
like a
of...
Gotham deal?
Did you play it?
I know everything about it. I played it top to bottom. I got all the
Didn't play
DLC.
it.
I got season 1.
He just watched it on the YouTube.
What?
He
So-
did with those
Because
fighting game,
but it's not part of
Injustice.
the Arkham universe, right? Like it's not the same.
It is.
It is?
No,
It
I don't.
is.
But Poison Ivy was
No.
definitely she was in that Arkham Knight.
Yeah,
And now she's a
she
fucking
died
baby.
in the third one.
Oh my god, and she's back and she's a
Oh,
fucking baby now.
She died in the third one, and she died in Arkham Knight, and now she's a baby.
Now she's a baby.
Oh,
'Cause she's a plant.
like that tree from Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Groot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only a girl. A girl Groot.
How-
I'm
oh,
Geralt.
Maybe Matt wants to play that Guardian of the Galaxy game.
I played a little
I
bit
played
of
that
it.
game. That's a good game. I played the whole dang thing and got mad when the game crashed on the final boss like 10 times in a row.
What are you talking about? You hate Marvel. You never would have played that game.
Yeah, you're a liar,
I did. I
Jim.
played it. It was on Game Pass, and I played
You're
it.
on Game
Wow.
Pass. It's D's on Game Pass, motherfucker.
Game Pass.
Can we talk about Sea of Stars now?
I don't know. We tried.
We almost got there. Last time Garl was mortally wounded. I think Garl's the only guy that matters in this game.
Yep.
If we're not talking about Garl, we're missing the point. So Last time on Garl went to the Clockwork Castle. Garl met some little old kids, and Garl tried to fight a dweller, and Garl was joined in the party by Rashawn. And Garl also got air stabbed by the Fleshman. Garl.
I'm Garl. I'm from Texas.
I'm just a little girl. Why are you doing a recap? I already do that in my last time. Everyone knows what happened.
No, that's true. I wanted to make it more Garl centric. So Garl is about to die, but he's like, before I do that, I want my friends to be able to do the thing they're trying to do. So he's like, let's go cross the Sea of Stars, but we need the permission of the Sky People first.
Yeah, Garl somehow has been given all the exposition, and so he knows exactly what needs to happen to make this Sea of Stars deal go.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm sure we're going to get corrected by a listener, but how did we go from fighting the Dweller and Garl getting killed to the Sea of Stars? Because, like, Zale and Valere very specifically say, I don't know what that is.
Right, but
Does Rashawn say
the
it?
Fleshmancer
just
says
fucking
it.
knows now.
No, but the Fleshmancer says it a bunch of times, like, oh, he'd have to cross the Sea of Stars, and there's no way
he's
you
gonna
can do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Girl just knows shit now because he's dead.
Yeah. He's like, he's got half of his brain in Outworld.
Ooh.
So Garl's on borrowed time. So we go talk to the Sky People. And this is like, if you guys like feet,
Yeah.
you're going to love Skytown.
I like Punty.
Yes, I did like Punty. I thought this was a really clever idea. They were also super well animated. Like when one of them has to lift up their feet so you can walk under them. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it like lifts up his right foot when you go and then stomps down and then lifts up his left foot when you go into the left foot. That's really cool.
Yeah, because these are giants. All we can see of them are their feet. I really liked the part where you're
Show
like
feet.
walking by them and one of them says, "It's okay, I can see you down there. Like, we're not gonna step on you." And then I'm like, "Why you step on me? Step on me with your big feet."
Imagine what those Tootsies smell like.
Show feet.
Take your Sky Giant sandals off. Are they wearing sandals? It looks
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
of course
they're
they
wearing
are.
sandals. I mean, you can see
And
those
togas.
toesies.
Yeah.
they're not open. Oh, you can see their toes? They're open-toed
Yeah.
sandals. Wow.
If they're wearing togas, does that mean you can, take a
Yes.
little peek?
See their giant junk hanging out? Yeah, of course.
You think they're all like our party's perving out doing a bunch of upskirt shots
Yeah.
in the Skytown?
Yeah.
Well, who?
Upskirt
Okay.
in Skytown. That's the name
Who
of this episode.
in that party would? I guess Zale, because he's like a
I don't
20-year-old
think-
virgin.
Oh, I bet Rashawn would. He's been in that tower for like 2,000
He's
years.
immortal. That fucking shit doesn't even work. He shoots dust. A. B. I think that it should be a rule on this podcast that you can't say that the name of the episode is something you just said. Like, you didn't even give us a chance to laugh at the joke before you were like, "Yeah, that's the name."
I'm editing.
Oh, the podcast is
I'm
right.
editing. I'm gonna really bring that out in the edit. My joke.
Yeah.
And then
Dang, are you editing this week?
And-
That's
And Jim, you can add like laughing from us laughing at something else, and just make like a whole
Not this
45
laughing.
seconds.
Jim's that joke was not funny. Yeah. I have to try and
big
squeeze that into
would-
every laugh. It's gonna be tough.
Like, at some point, someone's junk has to be so big that it doesn't, like, spark any sense of eroticism anymore, right? Like,
I mean, I would say there's
It's-
already that in the world today, like giant statues. Maybe if you were to climb around on it, like on a giant dong on a statue.
Oh,
in a
Vanessa seemed to
game.
like that though.
I loved that in Assassin's
oh,
Creed
she did that in
Odyssey.
Assassin's Creed. Yeah.
Dong so big it's bigger than me.
I just want to hang off it like a... What's the little jingle jangle part in a bell called?
The hammer?
The hammer of the bell.
I want to hang on this dong like a bat.
And yeah, there's something called that. Like, there's a fetish called hypergonadism, where people have these enormous like bus-sized penises. So,
Yeah, but eventually it's just going to be too big. Like, eventually If
I
it
think
was-
that's the point. That is too big. It's medically too big.
No, but like
Medically?
if it's so
Yeah,
big,
medically.
like what if you can only just see like skin? Like it's so big and you're so close to it that's just like looking at a brick wall. You can't
could
see the
sleep
whole
on it.
building. I don't
Wow.
want to sleep on it.
You could like hide stuff in your foreskin.
it'd be like a waterbed that
Oh.
sometimes turns into a firm mattress.
I guess I do like that adjustable option, come to think of it. I don't like the idea of things being hidden up in that foreskin because I think they'll be forgotten.
Yeah, you had a pretty physical reaction.
Yeah, that's a recipe for an ADHD disaster.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely. I mean, you could hide it in the foreskin, or you could hide it like well deep within the urethra. But there's a vast difference between that.
I don't have a problem with
Oh,
sounding.
John, your sister just requested to follow me on Instagram.
Oh,
Ah, cool.
cool!
All right. I'm a member of the family.
Oh wow, Jim has like a full drum kit there.
That's what I said earlier.
Well, I wasn't looking.
Did you miss when
I spent
we had
10
a
minutes.
long
I spent like
conversation about Jim's
I spent like
drum
10
kit?
minutes.
I was
spent like 10
adding the.
I spent like 10 minutes before the episode banging on this drum, trying to get it to register on the microphone.
I was adding patrons to the document, Jim. All right,
I was reading
so
text, so you know what that means.
I forgive you.
oh gosh,
Well, what did you think I was talking about when I kept going on about Jim's drum kit? Do you think I was being like metaphorical?
no, I believed you. I just didn't look at it. I didn't see it. I didn't acknowledge it because I was busy.
What if there was a drum kit that was so big that like it stopped being?
All right. So we're going to this like it's a real Athens like or I guess more Olympus.
Yeah, they seem very like I was gonna say that earlier when Vanessa said toga, and then we were talking about sandals. It's a very Greek vibe here. There's like lots of old columns and
but
stuff
they're
around,
bluish, purpley.
and they're giants. Yeah. But you have to go talk to like this council. It is very Olympian, John. This council of like 3 counselors that are floating in big chairs, and I don't know why these people are in charge of the Sea of Stars.
Why is anyone in charge of anything? You know?
That's true.
Yeah,
But they're like, you
I
need to
guess I
do,
don't know
you need to
either.
do it. They're like, you need to do a cool trick before you can go on the Sea of Stars. You have to prove that you're a cool guy.
Yeah.
And Garl's like, well, whatever. I'll do the coolest thing ever. I'm gonna wake the sleeper up.
Yeah, and they're like, why would we want you to do that?
Yeah,
The sleeper is
that's-
a dragon
yeah,
that's
they're
going to
like,
destroy the world if it wakes up.
We have explicitly stated that would bring about the apocalypse.
Yes. But Garl has an amazing plan.
Well,
and he
Garl's
says-
dying, so Garl doesn't care if everybody else dies, you know?
Oh, Garl's trying to take everybody with
Yeah, it's
him.
like those
that's-
billionaires that wanted the world to be destroyed by the end of their lives.
Yeah.
Garl is like, nah, I got an amazing plan. This thing, like, the reason it's going to destroy the world if it wakes up is because it would be in such a bad mood to be woken up from its nap. But nobody's in a bad mood when they wake up to the yummy smell of a delicious morning pancake and a pancake in the pan.
Well, wait, he
I
said
think it was a
bread.
pancake. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
a loaf
he
of
wants
bread.
he wants to bake the biggest loaf of bread.
Oh, no,
for-
no. In my version, he was making sausage and biscuits and gravy.
Oh, he's making a giant thing of gravy.
Yeah.
Vanessa, did I tell you about those hash browns I had this morning that were cooked in garlic butter?
You did.
With
You sent
onions.
a picture, too.
They were so good.
But I was really confused because you had said that the only place to eat was Costco. And then
Yeah, you said you were gonna go get a Costco hot dog, and then you're like, "Look at these hash browns."
Yeah,
and I
and
was
I'm
thinking
like,
to
is this
myself,
Well,
"Wow, the
because
menu
I
in
decided
Canada,
not to spend
the Canadian
$65
menu is different."
on a Costco membership to get a glizzy to slide down my
You
throat.
could have fucking walked right through. Nobody's going to stop you. It's Costco. A. B. Let's talk about every meal that we all had today.
Okay.
I had some breakfast casserole for breakfast this morning. I put a little salt and pepper and a little ketchup on there. It was sausage and cheese and eggs and hash browns.
Well, I didn't talk about the eggs because it was an omelet with goat cheese and a little chicken and spinach and sun-dried tomatoes. It was really good.
How many eggs we talking?
3.
For
It wasn't
breakfast,
like
I
the
had-
6 egg.
Yeah, I watched him eat 6 eggs in one sitting.
That's
I had a
disturbing
croissant
to
and a
me.
banana for breakfast, and then I made salmon for lunch, just like one fillet of salmon. And I
Sad.
also had a little bit of cheese around then, too, I think. And then for dinner,
How much of that salmon did you feed to your cat? Be honest.
I fed none to my cat. He is into human food these days, though, but he wasn't around. Then for dinner, I had some raw vegetables, a few dolmas, and I had some leftover Brussels sprouts in bacon jam. I ate those.
Ooh. Jim, what about
My
you?
eat report. Oh, I also ate a marzipan pig today. That was the
What?
most important part.
How big was it?
Like yay big.
Pig size?
No,
Oh.
no, like
Like a 2-inch?
the size of a small confectionery.
I don't like pretending marzipan's edible because that leads to cake bakers pretending that what they're making is edible.
I love marzipan. I got a marzipan pig in my Christmas stocking, and I ate it today.
You don't love it that much. You took 14 days to eat it or something.
It hasn't been 14 days since Christmas, has it?
No.
No.
10.
No.
Like 9.
9. All right. Let's move on. So we ask permission, and Garl says that he's gonna bake bread.
Make some bread.
Which is different.
They're like, well, how are you going to do that? And he's like, I'm going to bake the biggest loaf of bread in the biggest oven in the world, Kiln Mountain. And they're like, you can't do that. There's a lava monster in there. He's like, I don't care.
We'll show that lava monster. Who's boss? He's like, I'm going to ask Malcolm Mud, the wind elemental, to... Earth. Was he Earth or Wind?
He was Earth.
Okay, yeah, too.
Because, like, for the wind part, they're like, hey, what are you going to do for wind, you idiot? And he's like, I'm going to have my friend steal the Zephyr, which, like, the game expects you to know what this is.
I felt like Garl, like, on his fucking deathbed, suddenly just knows shit. Like, he's had fucking visions.
It's like when some people have it's like in the Dead Zone, where, like, he had a near-death experience and now he's a psychic.
Oh, that'd make a lot of sense.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
they actually mentioned
Would it?
something like that in the game, but they
Well,
did
you did.
not.
You did. You remember, like, when Garl gets, like, when he gets the potion, he sees visions of all these things happening.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. They do explain it.
Yeah.
How he just fucking has psychic powers now. Garl's not going to die, though, right? Because that would be
No,
sad.
they wouldn't do that. It's like how they're
do
obviously
that.
going to bring Wedge back in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
That.
I mean, they keep saying that Garl is definitely going to die.
Yeah.
And there's no
Garl,
way
and, like,
around it.
Garl keeps, like, phasing in and out of existence for some reason.
He's like one of
which-
Marty. He's like when Marty McFly was trying to play guitar.
He is like when they he it's like the worst special effect in Back to the Future when they like superimpose his hand on one side of the frame like it's in front of him and it's slowly disappearing. That special effect has never looked good. So now the party splits up. Rashawn, we're like, how are we gonna do all this? There's only like 5 of us. And Rashawn's like, no, there's not, and he splits himself into 3. He just can do. He's a real Mary Sue.
Yeah.
He can just do whatever he wants.
Yep. He just does whatever.
Well, they've been pretty clear that he's like a god tier level
Yeah.
being.
He's like an elder god. He's up. Is there any god above him and Franzafard or whatever his friend's name is?
What is his friend's name? Fleshmancer?
Yeah, Fleshmancer's the nickname.
Or Aurifil. That's his
Aurifil,
name,
that's
right?
it.
Aurifil, yeah. I just called Rashawn and Mary Sue. In the notes, I also call Soraya Mary Sue because the council's like, why are you here? Or like, how'd you get here? And she just goes, determination. And that's the only explanation the game gives you for how Soraya is,
Well,
is
KO
where
said
she
something
is.
like that to her too. They're like, well, you should know all about this. When they're
Yeah, but
talking
it's never it's never explained how she's able to do what she does. So yeah, so you get that little like lore hint. But they're
Just
like,
to be
okay,
clear, a
time
Mary
to-
Sue or a Marty Stew, if it's a male character, is typically a replacement main character, which neither
I thought the Mary Sue
Rashawn
was
nor
just like
Sarai
the
are.
character who could do anything.
Yeah, but it's typically like a new character that's introduced, usually by a new writer that's like inserting their own character who can do everything the other person, like the original, can do, but better. It's not a catch-all for really good at stuff person.
Well, really good at everything person is what I was getting. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We need to split up. So we need to get the Zephyr. I don't know why all this has to happen at the same time, but I guess it does. Oh, because Garl's going to die pretty soon, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're on the
like
clock.
they're on the clock, and they have to like. There's certain things like heating up the oven and getting all these things. I don't know why. Yeah, and he just has a very short timeline because if he stops working
Yeah.
on his goal, he dies.
These are all really short little quests,
I
too.
like
So
this was a cute idea. It reminds me a little bit of
Yeah.
remember in the beginning of Final Fantasy VI when it's the party splits into 3 and you get these little adventures with each of them.
It's like the first half of the game, isn't it? You have
Yeah.
like all these concurrent things happening. But so Zale and Rashawn are going to go to the other part of Skytown and get the Zephyr. Sarai and Rashawn are going to go to the Nightmare Sea and get what are they getting?
A scale from the big monster. That
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I don't remember why they need
Oh, because that will allow them to make crops very quickly.
yeah, the crops will
Oh,
grow
right.
fast.
Yeah,
They
so
have to
they
grow
go do
so
that.
much wheat for that delicious bread.
Yeah, so they go do that, and then Valere and Rashawn are going to go to the volcano, and Garl is going to go get Malkamut, which happens off screen. You don't ever see that happen. So first area.
Oh, you see it
the
happen.
other
You
part
see
of-
him. You see it happen.
You see him talk. You see him
can talk
talking to him.
Malkamut, but you don't control Garl.
No.
Yeah, you don't get to play as Garl.
You never get to play as Garl in this game.
That's
Garl should have had his own little chapter. Maybe like when he's in hell.
Yeah. Garl
Maybe
went to
he'll get
hell
one.
to
We
just,
don't know.
Like make friends with the devil. He'd be like,
Oh, there should be a Garl in Hell DLC.
there should be.
Make Friends with the Devil sounds like one of those budget westerns that'll have someone like Desperado
like Gary Busey.
yeah. Gary Busey in Make Friends with the Devil.
It sounds like a level from Cuphead.
It does. So Air Elemental Skyland is the first little area we get with Zale and Rashawn. There's not even a boss fight here. It's just a series of like little laser puzzles that you
Yeah.
have to solve with your weather powers.
You whoosh around. You get to do a whoosh every now and then.
Are you whooshing in this?
Yeah, you whooshing. You sort of activate little like wind tunnel things, and then you
Oh,
whoosh
yeah.
from place to place.
Yeah. And at the end of it, you're like, it's time to free the Zephyr, and then you free it, and then you immediately imprison it again by
Yeah.
shoving it into a
Yeah.
bottle.
You have to take your coral hammer and like improve it into like a blue jeweled hammer or something like that.
Yeah.
Cobalt.
I wasn't clear if like
Cobalt
the wind
hammer.
Zephyr was sentient or is it just a
I
little bit
don't-
of wind.
I wasn't sure either.
Well, what
Well, does it
what
talk to
does what do Red Hot Chili Peppers have to explain about it?
John, that is one of those. It's not quite as bad as "Are You Gonna Be My Girl" by Jet, but "Zephyr" by Red Hot Chili Peppers is a song I
It is a.
cannot.
I think
fucking stand.
I disagree with
I
you
feel that
about.
way
Are you
about
going to be?
all Red Hot Chili Peppers songs?
No, I like Red Hot Chili
Yeah.
Peppers, but Zephyr is one of their worst, and it is their worst songs. And yeah, I agree, it's one of the worst songs. But it's not
It is
Star
a piece of
Trekking
crap.
by The Firm, which is the worst song.
So you disagree about
song.
Jets? Are You Gonna Be My Girl though?
Yeah, I like that song.
Jim was so mad about that song the other day. He's like,
Me too.
Oh, I turned on like one of those YouTube like recommended playlists, and the first song was "Are You Gonna Be My Girl" by Jet, and I was like, oh, that's disgusting.
Disgusting is quite a term for that. It's Just
It's
a
a pretty
song.
innocuous song as far as I'm concerned, yeah.
It's not like
Because you
it's
look
not like
so
it's.
fine, and I really want to make you mine. Dun, dun,
Are you gonna
dun,
be my
dun,
girl
dun, dun,
or
dun.
else? I don't know why it's disgusting.
Down to the beat,
offensive.
take a hand and come with me. Huh?
You
Look
don't
so
need
fine that I
nobody
really
but
want to make you mine.
gravity.
Bum, 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 ba-da-da-da. I like that song. Fuck you.
Big black boot. Jim took off his headphones and is looking angrily at the camera.
Long black hair.
She's so sweet with a get back stare. I can see you home with me, but you are with another man.
Man.
You guys are singing yourself into an edit.
I'd really like Jim to learn to play that song on his drums, because I think then he would come to appreciate it.
That's the thing. I could play it. You could take any part of that song and play it, and it would sound like the basic baby rock band bullshit. Like it's the worst song ever.
Well, look, in Australia, they have to try a little harder.
So yeah, no boss in Air Elemental Skyland, and then the next area is like only a boss. When we go to the Nightmare Sea,
Yeah, this is
by
nothing.
the way, the whole what you're doing here is you're dropping the immaculate pearl that you got from somewhere into the Nightmare Sea in order to summon this Leviathan thing. Where do we get this pearl?
Where do we get
Where'd it
the
come from?
pearl?
Did the fish people give it to us?
I don't know.
I don't want to type because I
Pearl.
typed too much the last episode. It was
I'll
annoying
do
to edit
it.
it out.
I'll
Yeah.
do it.
Maybe want to blow my fucking brains out. You have a smartphone. Use that. You can type on that without going. Dagga, 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 dagga.
Immaculate
Jim, you're not allowed to laugh at
pearl.
that.
After throwing
Yeah, I
the
type
pearl
that too.
into the water, the
It doesn't ever say where you get it. You just have it.
items.
I'm sure you got it
Yes.
somewhere.
Yeah. And someone's like, "This will come in handy later, probably."
Oh wait! It's given to you by Hortense.
Well, thank God we worked that
Hortense.
mystery out.
Hortense is the navigator.
Is the ghost.
Ghost
She's the ghost
navigator.
navigator on the
Oh,
ship.
Yeah.
So she just gives it to
Okay.
you.
So what do you guys think of this seahorse boss fight?
No, I didn't like it. I really liked it the first time. I didn't like it this time. There wasn't like a pirate ghost doing a backflip.
Well, you didn't really
summoning the
fight
seahorse,
it.
anything cool like that.
You didn't really fight it the first time. You fought the pirate ghost, and it was an attack, right? And now you have to fight it.
Oh yeah. Now you have to fight it.
No, I didn't like it.
It felt too weak.
I like.
it wasn't a
yeah.
challenging boss
If-
fight.
I don't like any
It
of
felt
the
like
fights
the
in this
boss
game.
fight. It felt like it was padding itself a little bit by making the tail come out, and then every time you hit the head, the tail would counter you, so you had to do the tail.
Yeah, Paddington Bear. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Isn't Elder Mist 2 did the exact same thing?
Oh, that's right.
Get some new ideas, developers. They had one idea in this game, and it was, let's introduce one likable character and then murder them. And everything else is Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, hee hee hee.
That should be the name of the episode. Chrono Trigger Final Fantasy.
That would be good.
Should be the name of this fucking
algorithm,
game.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the name of this podcast.
Well, if you remember, the same thing happened with Alice jumping in front of Chaz when she got hit by the bolt in Phantasy Star 4.
Oh yeah.
We definitely
Wow,
all remember
rip off.
that for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have never heard the names Alice or Chaz before in my life. Did I play that one?
Yes,
There's no way.
I believe you did.
No.
I think so.
What else happens in it?
There's like a robot girl, and then there's like a beast girl with claws.
There's a green Chewbacca.
There's a green Chewbacca, a blue Chewbacca.
Don't you go to the moon?
No.
Well, you go to a bunch of different planets.
No,
There's the-
I definitely did not play that.
Oh, okay.
I would remember Alice
Would
and
you?
Chaz.
How's this for an episode title? Are you gonna be my Jim?
Are you gonna be my Garl?
Shit, that's a good one.
Hey,
Are you gonna be my girl? Yep.
You'll get
Oh man.
zapped soon with that. Giga Flare.
So we beat this thing and we get the scale. We murder this thing for 1 scale, by the
No,
way.
you don't.
We
They
don't.
specifically tell you not to kill it.
Oh, you
just
you
hit
don't
it
kill it?
until a scale falls off, and then pick up the scale and leave. I'll give you this, Jim. You definitely fight this thing until it sinks into the sea like it's dead. So
Yeah.
because I remember specifically them being like, "Don't kill it, though." And then when I fought it, I was like, "I think we killed it. I think we just killed it
No,
anyway."
it's
Yeah,
gross.
we're
It's
in the
fine.
we're in the
Yeah,
we're in the ghost
Rashul
dimension.
and
Nobody will
yeah,
know.
exactly. Rashul and Valera
Fine.
just like give each other looks like. "Hmm."
Well, this is
Like,
Dead-Eyed
did you guys-
Rashawn, right? Did that happen yet? Where Rashawn's like,
no, this is
No.
just multiple
No.
Rashawn.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next
apologies for the
little area
spoilers,
is kind of
listeners.
a
I
little
didn't mean to
dungeon.
bring
And
up
Johnny.
Dead-Eyed Rashawn too often, too early.
Too often or too
Yeah.
early.
Too often or too early. The next area is Kiln Mountain. This is a little bit of a dungeon. This is Valere and Rashawn. There's some like magma ball rolling.
Oh,
in order
I like this
to-
puzzle mechanic. That was a fun
Yeah,
one.
this was fun. Yeah. It was a
John,
little
if
baby
you like
puzzle. I don't know
pushing
what it's
shit
called, puzzle.
around, you should definitely download that Legacy of Kain
That Soul Reaver.
remaster. 'Cause that is the block pushingest game ever.
It's how like all of those PS1
Yep.
adventure games were.
And remember how
Push
much
this
block
bu-
pushing there was in Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
that's
And
what they all ripped
Raider.
off.
Yeah. Well, it ripped off Tomb Raider.
Was Tomb Raider before Ocarina of Time?
Yeah, it was 96 and Ocarina was 98.
Whoa, Ocarina of Time, you ripped off Tomb Raider.
That's why Link has huge boobs in it.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it more at the end of the episode when we do level ups. But boy, has playing that Soul Reaver game reminded me how fucking annoying late 90s platformer action adventure games were. Like, holy shit.
Remember that part
We ate them
in
up.
Vagrant Story where you had to do like block jumping puzzles?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that when I gave up on that game and was
Yes.
like, no, I'm not doing this. I have better things to do with my life.
The division of characters here really emphasizes
Tom Clancy's
how
the division?
Valera-
Of characters?
Yes. Tom Clancy's the division of characters here really emphasizes how Valera's the cool one. Am I right? Like,
Yeah.
Does it?
Vanessa, I
Because,
don't
like, they
appreciate
don't-
how you have given in to their demands and are now saying Valere. It's Valerie. We all know it's Valerie. You were on my
Valera
side.
and Zale don't have a personality. They can't be cool because they don't exhibit any kind of
Jim.
like.
I mean, at this point in the game, their personality is sad about Garl.
not exhibiting characteristics is the coolest thing you can do.
They're both
they're not even aloof. Aloof is a characteristic. They don't even have that.
Jim. Are they both virgins, or do you think during that 10 years of schooling?
No, please don't.
Oh,
Please don't.
Oh, you know what? I meant to bring this up in this episode. I'm glad you reminded me. How old are these kids?
Yeah, I actually was wondering the same thing.
They're 20.
How old are
20?
Valerie and Zale in Sea of Stars?
Like, did you mean Valere and Zale?
Age is around 18 to 19. One question people often ask on Google is Valerie a girl? What?
Is Valerie a girl?
She's a girl. All right, so you defeat the sea monster who definitely lived and you didn't kill.
Just
Wink.
spoiled for myself for what the golden ending is for this game on accident.
Don't tell me.
And I'm glad I'm not getting it. That's all I'm going to say.
And what's next? So you defeat that. Then you got to defeat the lava.
Then you gotta do then we do the lava toad.
Toadnado! Toadcano!
Toad.
I love Toadcano. Though, can I just say, I've noticed a pattern with these bosses, which is they're mostly just big heads with little arms. Almost every boss in this game is a big head with little arms.
In the Dweller boss fight we did last episode, it was like a little ape head with big arms.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah, it had giant arms.
Yeah. So this was just another boss fight.
Good
Not
description.
a lot to it. Yeah, we've been doing this almost 10 years. No, I mean, it summons these little firecracker things,
Yep.
which can be kind of annoying, but really aren't worth attacking because they don't really do any damage to you.
Yeah, they're doing like 10 points of damage.
Yeah, its ultimate attack that you can interrupt is where it like goes under the magma and then shoots a bunch out. That can do some damage.
Yeah.
If you don't cancel that, it does like 40 points of damage, I think.
Right.
But it also hits all the little firecracker guys, so it mostly kills all those things.
40
every time
points.
it
This
does
thing
it,
was
so.
doing over 100 damage to me.
Oh, was it?
Did you
Maybe I
turn
got
on
that wrong.
expert mode?
No.
Oh.
Did you try to block it?
And I
Yeah,
definitely
it-
tried to block it and had all the best goddamn armor I could get.
Actually, Matt, yeah, it was about the same. I think it was around 100 for me, now that I think about it.
Okay.
When it hit that.
Okay.
With the Toad Kano.
Sorry.
Why's Jim gonna lie to us all the time?
Just trying to
Stop gaslighting me.
Why does that guy who looks like if Jim got squished in that hydraulic press, why is he putting all those videos on Facebook?
That guy who like takes other people's content and then intersperses like shots of himself going, huh?
Isn't that every content creator online at this point, basically?
Yeah, pretty
Just
much.
ripping off anything that gains any sort of traction and sticking themselves over it, going, The internet sucks now. Remember GeoCities? That shit was fun.
Did you have the GeoCities?
God, no.
Oh, look.
I heard somebody pronounce it differently recently, and it blew my mind, and now I can't quite remember what it was. Like Geocity? Something like that.
Oh.
Where I was like, wait, is
I
that
think that
right?
was me. Look, that's Chaz. Vanessa. Oh, Vanessa's gone.
Oh, you're right.
I don't... John, that's not like a picture from the game.
I'm
It's
just
not going to
saying.
help.
It is Chaz.
Kapow.
It is Chaz.
Yeah.
So now that we've killed the Toad Kano, the creature who is just defending his home, we can use it to bake this bread.
Whoa, we're barreling towards murdering Garl.
Yeah, so
Now we get
Garl's
get a baking montage.
I did like that scene of him like going over the
like
plans with the Malcolm Mud. That was really cute. And then you see him like be like, okay, so we need some vents here and here. And Malcolm was like, I do it like your plans.
I like that when you see the inside of the volcano when they've like laid it out. The little monsters that were blocking the tubes in the Malcolmud's dungeon are there blocking the tubes. The little tube monsters, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I was wondering what those things were. I was like,
Yeah.
what were those?
We fought a bunch of them when we had to go save whatever that place was called. Mole Land.
Mole Town. Moleville. No, that's in Super Mario RPG.
Holy moly! That's all. That's the best I got.
So, all right. So now we get some baking scenes. We get you see Teeks, and Teeks is helping, by the way. Teeks is here.
Yay.
Teeks and Sarai growing some wheat, and then we see the pirates helping them harvest the wheat.
I hate the pirates.
Why?
Mostly because every time they talk, they have the same animation that they repeat every single time, and we have to see it 6,000 times in this game, and it wasn't funny like or interesting the first time, and it just keeps happening.
They
I don't
do.
quite
That
understand
one does
why,
flex for the council, which was funny.
I do like the one that
yeah.
flexes. You're right, you got me. I like the
We
one
see that
pirate.
right after this.
Yeah.
I like the one pirate. Every time Keenathan flips his eyes, his little things up, and is like, "Or my name's not." I want to throw my controller through the screen. Shut the fuck
I hate Keenathan.
up.
I hate Keenathan.
Keenathan and Yolanda
Keenathan's
can
my least
fuck
favorite.
off.
I did like that they showed buff guy carrying big bundles of wheat. Are these bushels? Are these bushels of wheat?
Yeah, I bet they are. Good word choice, Jim.
Yep.
Thanks.
And then Sarai was using her teleportation portals to
Oh
dump
yeah.
all the
I
wheat.
like that they're like, yeah, we gotta unload all these bushels of wheat off the boat, and then Sarai's like, I'll help, and then she cuts a hole and then just throws them all through the hole.
Just the Discord chat was mad at us for not bringing up that Sarai chopped the top off of a mountain with her teleportation power last week.
I didn't know. Maybe I looked away for a second because I do not remember
Me
that.
too. I didn't remember that happening. So let's see. We bake the bread. We see Garl like kneading it. and like helping it bake as it turns into a big loaf of bread. And then we see the big sleeper dragon wake up.
I like that because the Zephyr is like taking the smell like it's a cartoon pie over to the dragon. The dragon like wakes up and is like,
Pancake.
The dragon does float over to the bread, but I guess under his own power and not via the power of smell, like
Not
in a
like a
real
Monterey
cartoon.
Jack style.
yeah.
I did like the animation of this dragon waking up. We get sort of a. Is it the? I don't think it's the animation style.
No, it's
just like,
the sprite animation.
Flash.
Yeah, it's just a lovely sprite.
No, it looked
animation.
really good.
Yeah.
Yes, the sprite animations look great. When it cuts to like animation, it looks like early '90s Flash art animation. It looks like shit.
They did their best.
Yeah.
Great. Doesn't mean I have to pretend like it looks good.
It's funny watching Final Fantasy VII's original cutscenes and thinking, oh yeah, this was the most expensive part of the game.
This was enough to attract like 10 million buys. Like, whoa, that's CGI, and they
Look
look
at him
like,
taking that his mom's face off.
Wait, what? It's a face-off scenario? I don't
Yeah.
remember that in Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah, remember
Take her
Genova?
face off.
Oh yeah, where he takes his mom's face. Was that actually? Wasn't Genova behind that?
Yeah.
And that was just like a robot.
It was
they
just
put in
like a
front of?
weird decoration. I don't understand.
Here's a fun decoration.
When the movie Face Off first was coming out, I was sure it was not actually about taking someone's face off and putting it on someone else. I'm like, no, they just get plastic surgery to look like each other. They're not going to actually take their faces off. That's stupid. How
See,
would that even work?
The brilliance of the title Face Off is that it's kind of like a double entendre.
Oh, how
Because
so?
they
Face
both
off.
take their faces off, and they also face off against each other.
Wow.
I know.
Whoa! I don't think I ever put that together.
I bet.
Did you know that eating a peach for hours is also an entendre?
I like that that whenever John Travolta receives Nicolas Cage's face, he loses more of his hair and also like 75 pounds.
Yeah. People don't realize you carry a lot of weight in the face.
I do think they both did a good job of impersonating each other in that movie. That is the fun part.
Yeah,
That's
they're-
the fun part of the
They're
movie.
having a good time. Yeah. All right, so this
John Travolta's
dragon
like,
comes
I'm a
over-
cat.
This dragon
sexy
comes
cat.
over and
a
he's like,
sexy
that it's like that bread smells so good. Nobody's ever done anything this nice for me. I'm going to be your butler now.
All right, can we talk about how a giant loaf of bread like that would be shit? Like, it would be bad. It would be
Well, yeah,
really
it's going to be
bad
soggy
loaf of
at the
bread.
bottom and in
Yeah.
the middle.
And in the
Won't.
middle.
Yeah.
It's just
No
dough in
way.
the middle.
They're heating it with lava. It's going to be so burnt and dry on that.
Part of me
outside.
thought, like, it's going to have a lot of rock in it, but then I thought maybe dragons like rock? I don't know what
Yeah,
a
it's
dragon
true.
eats. I wouldn't expect a dragon to eat a big-ass loaf of bread.
Do we
That
ever
one
actually
will.
see this dragon eating the bread, though? Or does he just come and, like, smell it?
No.
He eats it because you see little
just-
bits of it left at the end.
That's a
Oh,
good
that's
point,
right.
Vanessa.
You do see little bits around.
Does this dragon eat bread, or does, like most dragons, does it only eat people? And it's like, that smells good. Excuse me while I go have a snack. And are those little bits of bread that we see little bits of bread, or are they limbs and viscera and gore of humans?
Oh, you think the dragon is has a gluten allergy?
Okay. It's a weird place to take that, but sure.
Yeah, anytime someone with a gluten aversion eats wheat, there's a lot of viscera and gore.
Well, do you know any lizard owners? Do they feed their lizards bread?
I don't
lizards
know anyone with a
digest
lizard.
bread?
Wait, that's not true. I do know someone with a lizard.
Who?
Jim
See if I
Banks.
can get in contact with her.
I would assume
All
they
right, well,
don't.
let's put the show on hold
Oh.
while we
Yeah.
wait for Vanessa to find out if lizards can eat bread.
So So the dragon eats the bread and then is like super polite. It's like, thank you very much. No one's ever treated me so good before. The children stopped believing in me.
So I turned into the Frost Gigas.
And he needs a name. So
this is the worst name. It's the worst name for a dragon.
you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Both of the names they suggest for this dragon are
There was no
terrible.
Jeeves, at least. He did skip Jeeves.
Yeah, that's where I thought it was going. The first, because the dragon's like, I'm gonna be like your butler, and he's like, give me a new name, and he's like, what's a good name for a butler? And he's like, Sinclair, and they're like, wait, maybe not Sinclair. What about Wentworth? And so the dragon's name is Wentworth.
Wentworth is a perfectly respectable name.
Not for a dragon.
I would expect to hear that from an Anglophile like Vanessa.
I thought we were going to ride the dragon across the Sea of Stars, not the Vesper team.
Ooh, that would have been way cooler. Why didn't we do
I don't
that?
know.
How are you going to get the Vespertine to the Sea of Stars? I got to make you drive your fucking boat around some more.
You gotta drive your boat. I like that. The council does say that you need to have a key, and they're like, they have the key. They have the Vespertine.
And that's the key.
So I guess you need.
Tell me
guess
what
so.
you see in your dreams. Put Garl on the back of a flying dragon. You get on the flying dragon just to watch Garl die.
Garl's not gonna die. Garl's gonna live forever.
Hey, listeners. It's at this point in our original recording of this episode that I experienced some technical difficulties. So this is take 2 of the back half of part 5 of Sea of Stars. And I think where we
I'm
left
excited
off...
to talk about how glad I am that Garl died some more.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
He hasn't died yet.
Jumping a little
But he
bit
will
ahead.
die.
We're going to kill him soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, Jim was at a fancy art gallery with his editing laptop, but then he dropped his laptop onto a statue, and then he put his head through the Mona Lisa, and he was walking around with the frame around his head, and then he knocked into the thinker and like put his butt on the thinker's face.
All right, here's my version of that.
Okay.
Jim decided to take a quick peek at some pornography on the side and thought that he was just muting himself, but instead was stopping his track.
Oh. No, his track was just full of really horny MILF sounds.
Yeah. His track was just on. He switched it so that it was feeding the MILF sounds into his track instead of our conversation, though it does explain why Jim was gone for so long for the back half of the episode. And why he looked so tired and sweaty when he came back.
He got stuck in the dryer.
All right, here's my version of that. Jim's computer had a glitch.
Oh.
I don't like that one.
Hey, listeners,
That's
if you're
what
ever
actually happened.
thinking of starting a podcast, we would like to officially recommend that you get Reaper.
What?
Don't use Audacity.
This
Audacity is for morons.
This is like what's the word for it? Look, I'm not even in podcast brain. It's not my podcast time. I was gonna say this is raw dogging, and that's not at all what I wanted
not right.
to say.
What?
This is just casting aspersions at your poor innocent co-host. You know what? I used Audacity, and my track was beautiful, clear as a bell.
No
so
noises.
Funny. No noises, no bonking my little table, no tugging on my cord, no my cat meowing in the background. Just pure audio gold.
You guys all had really great tracks.
Thank
I mean,
you.
It's not a contest, but they were all pretty good.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks, Jim.
Yeah, I'd edit out some of, actually a lot of John breathing into his microphone about 30 minutes into the
I
original,
stopped
but-
doing that. I don't do it anymore.
Well, I'm
No
breathing.
offense to Johnny.
What the
just
people
tired
want
of
to
it.
hear.
Just is what it is. Listen,
Yeah.
we don't have some professional setup and we're not paying big Hollywood dollars to some production company to run this thing for it. All right? I do this on my Sunday mornings. So
I'm
you
stuffed
get what
up.
you get.
Yeah, I'll take another Halls.
Suck on a fisherman's friend.
I have not
Yeah.
been at a store with a fisherman's friend in 2 weeks for some reason.
Wow. I hope this isn't a fisherman's trend as to what we'll be seeing on the shelves in 2025.
Woof.
Wow. I don't even know what to say.
I'm-
No, it's the gold, Vanessa.
Yeah, let that sit like the stinky fart in the room that it is. No need to say anything.
Oh, so
All right, so remind us where we
dead.
left off before you started jerking it.
We were talking about Garl, and the sleeper had just eaten the bread, and Garl's like starting to get like he's been having these like tummy aches where he knows he's gonna die soon, and they're like, "Oh, what can we do? Like, what's your final wish?" Like, I'll grant you a wish, and it was to ride on the dragon's back.
That is
Yeah,
pretty
he wants
cool.
to ride his butler into the sunset.
I mean, that's pretty good final wish, right?
Yeah.
Turn around,
Don't
look at what you see in her
my
face.
dreams.
The mirror of your
Do
dreams.
you think that he rode his butler to like where his bullies were and chased them around until they
Yes.
flipped into a dumpster?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Who
I don't
were
think
his
so.
bullies, though? Moraine,
Didn't
I
ha-
think.
He didn't have any
Moraine.
bullies. Everybody loved Garl.
I would love it if this game just ended here and Garl just like rode the dragon to where Moraine and the Fleshmancer were and like flipped them into a dumpster.
Yeah,
Flipped him into a dumpster.
It was like flipping the double bird at the same time.
And he's like, yeah!
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I appreciate this never-ending story nod. I like it.
So he gets
It's a cool
onto the dragon. He's like, "This is all I've ever wanted." Good
Sorry,
times.
it's not the dragon. It's Wentworth.
Wentworth.
Went.
This is
The
all
worst goddamn name for a
I've
dragon I've ever heard in my
wanted.
life.
I'm flying again. One last time.
And then he falls off the back of the dragon and slams into
Oh,
the side of a mountain. Problem solved!
And his body explodes into a red mist.
I mean, I'm assuming that the rest of this game is going to be a pretty quick affair in the podcast, because if Garl's not around, what even is there to talk about?
How Garl isn't there, how much they miss
Yeah,
Garl.
Garl isn't there. Yeah.
Yeah.
What Garl would be doing if Garl was there.
Yeah, what's Garl thinking about? How does Garl feel about
How
what's going
many
on?
how many pressure cooker bombs did Garl make?
Johnny, I was kind of bored yesterday. I had some time to kill, and I flipped on a Simpsons marathon on I don't know what channel, and they played that episode that you referenced in your hit and run video, where Montgomery Burns sounds so bizarrely not like Montgomery Burns that it is jarring. It is jarring, bizarre. A lot of voice actors have changed in that show. It's so weird.
It's still the same actor. It's just what's his face he's just really old now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought it was a whole new actor.
No, it's still. Oh, I forget his name right now.
And Carl's a different actor,
Yeah,
right?
Carl's
Oh,
a different
sure.
actor. Yeah, Carl. Is it all? Basically, all the like non-white characters are now played by actors of their ethnicity.
That's fair. I understand the need for that, but I got to tell you, if I was starting an animation project today, I would do all the voices. I don't blame anybody for doing that. Like, and I certainly wouldn't be like, and my cast must be all white. It's just what it is, man.
Harry Shearer. Harry Shearer.
Harry Shearer.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna suggest, but I'm not sure. He does like half the voices on The Simpsons. So Garl's dead. We get
Good.
a nice cut to a panel cutscene.
Can we talk about how
Old-fashioned
fucking ready I
panel
was
cutscene.
for Garl to be dead by this point? Like, just let's go. For number one, I felt from episode one, I was like, this guy's going to die. They're going to fridge Garl to motivate Valerie and Zale into becoming, moon and
Matt's
sun
like
god.
how me and my brothers were when my sister and my mom were watching Beaches. We went in and we're like, going, God!
Yeah, pretty much.
The scene on the beach where that friend dies.
I was pretty pleased that Garl finally kicked the bucket. I liked Garl. Don't get me wrong.
I was actually surprised that they really killed him. It's like, oh, he's actually dead.
Yeah.
I mean, can we just
Nope.
clear the air here? Like,
Nope.
we all know there's a super secret ending. I have not seen
No.
it, but I have a pretty good fucking guess.
You don't have a guess. You said last time we recorded on the forgotten deleted track that you read the spoiler for what it was, and now you roll in here spoiling it for
Oh,
poor
I
Johnny.
forgot. No, but see, I read that when we were recording, and I was pretty drunk at the time, so I forgot.
Not only
forgot.
did you spoil that the ninja was really the pirate, now you've
I didn't
gone
do
and
that.
done this.
That was not me.
That was Jim.
Johnny, did you assume at this point that the secret ending, that the secret ending is saving Garl somehow?
I thought it might be.
Yeah. What the fuck else would it be?
I guess it's like Sweet
Valerie and
because
Valerie
in
and
Fantasy
Zale
Star,
get married?
In Fantasy Star 4, you don't save Alice. You fight like a evil version of her. But in Suikoden 1, you can save Gremio. So I guess it's sort of like that.
Well, I have decided that I am not going to do that. I liked my dead Garl ending. Thank you very much. Why don't we take all of the poignant moments out of this game? You know?
Yeah, you call it Sea of Stars Rebirth.
Even more manipulative. Oh, Johnny!
What if Garl is both alive and dead?
Yeah.
What if we're too cowardly and lazy to actually solve this dilemma?
Well, we know that there's a multiverse because that alchemist said so.
Yeah, that's what
So-
the Final Fantasy
It's
VII
true.
game needed, was a multiverse, because they're so hot right now.
So
Everybody
hot.
is
So
really
hot.
into
hot.
multiverses and wants more of them.
I think, and this is going to seem like an extreme statement,
Around.
that Everything Everywhere All at Once was the peak of the multiverse craze.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
100% can
agree.
see that.
Well,
I would put the third Spider-Man movie maybe in that category as well. It really
Ooh, yeah,
brought
good
back
call.
all them boys, you know,
them
and that
boys.
was that maybe wasn't as tight of a story as Everything Everywhere All at Once, but it did have like 30 years of Spider-Man history baked into it.
was
which
that
was interesting.
2022? Because I'm writing about 2022, and I already have like that multiverses were a huge thing that year. Was Spider-Man?
I think it was.
Yeah,
It
so
may
I'll
have
have
been,
to.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that they kicked the multiverse off almost immediately, right? Like Doctor Strange 2 came out before Spider-Man 3.
Well,
didn't
the
it?
first one for
Did
me
not.
was Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, yep. That one also, you could contend for like only good multiverse movies.
Well, I
There's a
think that
couple,
one
I
really
guess.
started off how like the big multiverse thing.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
Like it really, pushed it to.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that it was sort of a proof of concept for
Yeah.
maybe the other Spider-Man movie.
But yeah,
They're like-
I'm
Oh, people can follow a multiverse story.
because I'm writing a Bears and Games about Saints Row 2022. Doing a retrospective on 2022 is a lot harder than like it's
only
not
2 years ago. It's hard to be retrospective about something that just happened.
and it's like going through all the hits because I guess instead of being in my 20s at the time, I'm in my 40s. So it's like, oh, I guess there's this Harry Knowles song I've never heard of.
Styles.
Harry Knowles.
Harry Styles. Sorry. Wrong guy.
Fucking movie website? Ain't it cool news?
Harry Knowles has a song.
Yeah, his latest single, As It Was.
Yeah, I had heard that song, but if you had told me that it came out in 2024, I would have been like, oh, yeah, sure, seems right.
Bunch of Doja Cat songs, Olivia Rodriguez. That's like-
Rodrigo. I actually like
Rodrigo.
Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah,
She's been
me
showing up
too.
in my playlists lately, and I'm
Yeah,
pretty
she's
into
good.
it.
I like Chapel Rowan. I'm cool. I'm hip. I'm with
Chapel
it.
Rowan was
Chaperone's
this
okay.
year, not 2022.
I know. I'm just saying.
I did find a second Chaperone song that I like, so that's exciting.
Is it HOTTOGO?
No, that one annoys me.
Good Luck
is,
Babe?
Pink Pony
no.
Club.
No, Good Luck Babe is the first one that I liked. It's,
Good Luck Babe is a good song.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the best one.
I like HOTTOTO because it
California,
reminds me
something
of
like that.
No.
Missing Persons Words. Like it has the bass line out of What Are Words For If No One Listens Anymore? You know that song, right?
No.
Oh, it's a good song. Look it up. Missing Persons Words. Good song.
Don't do it. Don't listen to him. It's not Red Wine Supernova either. What is it that I'm thinking of? After Midnight. I like that song.
I'm really glad that we've come together to talk about the Sea of Stars part.
Well, you guys are helping.
This is. I feel bad for
funny.
our listeners who probably are like, yes, they're finally getting to Garl's death, and we're like, anything else?
You guys are
you know
helping
what's
me
funny?
write my next script. That's all.
I'm not
This is
sure.
why
I'm
we
not-
this is why we have to do hot gaming news at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Just so we
Yeah.
can have our together time before we
have our
to
little
focus.
warm up time. I'm not sure if you guys remember. This conversation is going in a vastly different direction than it did the last time we tried to record this.
I'll tell you one thing for sure, Jim. I do not, will not, and will never remember anything we talk about on this show.
Yeah.
It was 2 days ago.
Because I was wondering if Matt was going to be here and like, oh, we'll have to redo Matt's level up. But what did Matt talk about? I know it was a thing that Jim also did.
I talked about a book, but I also Jim and I talked about Soul Reaver.
That's it.
I played some more of that today and was continuing. It was just more of like, oh yeah, this sucks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sucks.
All right, so I'm gonna try
All
to get us back on
let's,
track.
let's get
Garl's
back
dead.
into
So
this.
Garl dies.
get-
He dies on
Garl
the back.
Garl- we get a
dragon.
Garl funeral scene.
Oh yeah, we get like a cut. We talked about this like weird cut scene where it's like static images.
Yeah, it's in the style of Alice's
But-
death
yeah.
in Phantasy Star 4. I really like it. I think they should have done more cutscenes like this.
Yeah, I don't. I know I said this last. Well, I shouldn't be saying that because nobody knows that. So let me retake that. I like it. I like it a lot more than I don't like the animated cutscenes in this. I like the sprite cutscenes. I think they're great. Anytime they cut to that, the traditional animation, I think it looks like shit. It looks like old school Flash animation. It looks like garbage.
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 Yes.
Is Garl a garbage orphan? Because we never actually see his parents. We just see like his grandmother, I think, right?
I
Are you
don't
an orphan
know.
if your grandparents are alive, or is it just
What
your
an
parents?
interesting question. Yes. You can be an orphan if your grandparents are alive.
Yeah, remember in like Lemony Snicket, they're like orphans, but they still have a living relative.
Yeah, I didn't love Lemony Snicket.
Which one? The Neil Patrick Harris version or the...
I never watched the Neil
Jim
Patrick
Carrey
Harris
version.
version.
That one wasn't bad.
Oh no, that is the Neil Patrick Harris the new one.
That's the TV one, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the,
The
Netflix, one.
I
That wasn't
only
bad.
watched one season. It didn't. I watched it. It didn't hook me.
Yeah, I thought
I-
it was okay. I should finish that. I don't think I ever did.
I did like that Robin Sparkles was their mom.
I need to.
What a spoiler. I just told you I didn't finish it.
But I think they flash back to her a bunch of times during the show.
So we
I can't
bury
remember.
Garl under the fucking willow tree like he asked.
Yep.
The
They
what's
put
it
his
called?
pot lid against his tombstone.
Yeah, they put the pot lid. against
Which
the
one? Like the
tombstone, which
last
is
one he
weird.
bought or one of the earlier ones?
Yeah. Is this like the underwater lid or
The undead lid.
How common are
Oh, they should have. That would be kind of ironic
right.
if they put the undead lid on his tombstone.
Well, it
common are
wards
warrior
against
cooks
undead.
in this year, in this world? Because like the shops sell pot lids.
Yeah, the shops sell
alongside
these
other
Yeah.
pot
weapons.
lids.
So it can't just be for Garl. Like they must know, okay, we're gonna get a certain number of warrior cooks in every week who need to buy a pot lid.
Well, don't you have the same question for Secret of Mana? Like, why do they have these? Oh no, that one didn't have. That one had crystals that you upgrade.
That's right. That one you
Right,
got bespoke
yeah.
weapons from Watts.
Oh, that's right. You got like the that's right.
Never mind,
You got
Vanessa.
like orbs or
Which
something,
do
right?
you
Objection
prefer?
You got a whip
withdrawn.
orb.
Question for the group: Which do you prefer? Do you like it when you get bespoke weapons that you upgrade over the course of the game?
Ooh, I do
Or do
like
you prefer it? Do you prefer it when each town has a new shop that has a slightly more expensive version of your preferred weapon?
I'm going to say I like the Skyrim Oblivion, like, you find it on dead bodies and stuff. But there's some special narrative, like, named ones hidden around. That's my favorite.
I think that is basically the latter, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think I like seeing the different weapon designs of different weapons you can buy for your characters is one of my favorite things about RPGs.
Yeah, this game's real lazy about it. They just change colors.
But I did like that in Secret of Mana, though. I liked upgrading and then my sword is glowing yellow now.
But I like when I saw all of the different Buster Sword designs in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's awesome.
But you had that in Final Fantasy VII.
Kind of, but they're so. It's just not just seeing them rendered so.
I'm sorry,
beautifully in HD.
Not only did you get that in Final Fantasy VII, you got all of them, and not just some of them that they decided to put in this game. Final Fantasy VII is superior. Anyway, what about you, Vanessa? What is your hot take on that?
I do like the bespoke weapon that's your special weapon that you upgrade. It makes sense that shops would sell daggers and swords, so I don't mind if they have a few that they have for sale. But if you're supposed to be a special dude with a special weapon, then it needs to be special.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to come down on the same side as Johnny and Jim here, and basically for the same reason as Jim. Final Fantasy VII is a great example, but a lot of other games have done it as well. I love getting that new sword, and it look completely different, and you're like, whoa!
Yeah. It's very satisfying.
I agree. And, Johnny mentioned Skyrim, but I think that that's basically the same thing because you buy weapons in shops, or you do the same thing in Final Fantasy and all the other games. You find them.
Yeah, and the Souls games are like that too, where sometimes you'll stumble upon a really cool sword that an enemy dropped, but sometimes they're just in some shops.
I guess Johnny just really likes taking things off of dead bodies. Was his point. He's like, I like to fucking.
I love searching
he's a
and looting
scavenger.
dead bodies. It's one of my favorite activities.
That's why
I
you
like
like
the special
boss
weapon
so much.
because it's very much like in Lord of the Rings when you've never heard of something and then Argon's like, oh my god, the shattered sword. Could this really be Galamphimol, the great sword of Umaturn?
He carries that sword around the entire movie. It's not. The better example of that is in The Hobbit when they find a bunch of named swords after they basically accidentally kill those trolls instead of getting eaten by them.
Right,
and
they're like, oh my god,
Gandalf starts pulling them out, and he's like, holy shit, this is Clumpglorp. This is Snoogleboggle.
But as you know, in the book, they found those swords in the little grave burial thing that Tom Bombadil leads them to, not just off some random orcs.
Wait, Tom Bombadil's not in The Hobbit.
I'm talking about Lord of the Rings, Lordo.
Wait, so
Remember
is that
finding
where
a
they
bunch of
get
swords in Lord of the Rings?
Is that where they get Sting? Where do they get Sting from?
Sting's from The Hobbit. They get Sting, what I just talked about. It Once they kill the trolls, they find a stash of... Well, that's what I remember. I could definitely be wrong. Mm-hmm. Definitely,
so
Sting
maybe
is from
Frodo
The Hobbit
has
because
Sting
Bilbo
because he got it
gives
from
Sting.
Bilbo.
Yes,
Well,
he
then
does.
what do they get from the... And why can't I remember the name of a burial thing where there's a mound and it's very British? What's that called, Johnny?
Bairn? Cairn?
A cairn?
A cairn.
Cairn.
They go to the cairn with Tom Bombadil. Do they not?
I
Tom
don't.
Bombadil, Mary Doll.
Wow, Vanessa's
legitimately
in
don't
cross-examination
remember,
mode. Do
No,
they
it's a good
or do
point.
they not go to a cairn, Matthew Van Zant?
No, I don't.
And
I
Let me
don't
remind
know.
you,
Larry
you're under
Ball.
oath.
That is in the Lord of the Rings. That's the part that my brain skips over the most as I
Lovely,
read it.
Bombadil. Tommy
Fucking
Bombadil.
hate Tom Bombadil. I was
And
so
that
glad
scene
he
goes
wasn't in that
on
goddamn
forever.
trilogy of movies.
That Tom Bombadil thing goes on forever.
Hey,
in the
hey,
first book.
Mary Doll, Derry, Barry Doll, I'm Tom Bombadil. What's up?
So, my friends, Garl is
Garl's dead.
dead, and but his job is done. He's done the task he said he would do to the Celestials, and so we you just head on back.
To the Celestials, and now we are able
That's the end of the
to-
game, right? Garl dies, and everybody's like, well,
Well,
it was a good
we do
try,
get
but
that
without Garl,
montage.
there's no way we can win. So,
Yeah, we get a morning montage where everyone thinks about their feelings, and then when they're
Valere
ready, they-
punches a tree.
Sale
Does
just
she?
like
Yep.
meditates a bunch, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we go back to the Sky Giants, and we all have to line up like we're going through customs, and it takes forever because not only
And they
do
have
they
to
do
say
the
their
party,
name and their
yeah,
title.
they do.
And it's the pirates, too.
Yeah, they do all of the pirates. Every single person
God.
who's going to go on this
every
ship.
chance they get to reuse these fucking pirates, I swear to God. I got a lot of problems with this game, even though overall I do think it's a pretty good game. I got a lot of problems with this game, and this is maybe the one that sticks out to me the most.
Why
Fuck
did they
these
have a
pirates.
problem with Keenathan's name? Was it just that his name sucks?
It's
It's
stupid
a
as
stupid
fuck.
name.
Ah.
And they say it all the time. And I feel like I know they're kind of winking at it, but like just make him have a better name.
Boy, that doesn't make it like good or fun or anything, though. You know,
I know.
it doesn't. It doesn't work.
I still have to say the name Keenathan.
Yeah, I still have to read it on my screen over and over again. He's also the
So,
one
yeah,
that
we all-
says his own name constantly, which
Yeah, or my name is not Keenathan.
yeah, I hate him. I hate his guts. I hate him. I hate what's the other one's name?
Yolande?
Flex
Yolanda.
And
But I'll die for my king, Rip Shirt Boy. Let's get
Valtrex or whatever his name is.
Valtrex. Yeah.
Yeah. They all
Yep.
do their procession,
Valtrex.
including the ghost, and they're like, "Oh yeah, ghost, that's fine." The ninja goes, and they're like, "Yep, return trip," and she's like, "I don't know what you mean."
No spoilies, Celestials. Oh, Vanessa, can you upload some stills? I'm sure you grabbed some screenshots from this last junker. Could you upload them?
Yes,
I think I have a bunch.
I was so worried about what you were going to ask me to upload to the internet for a moment. I was like,
Oh,
"Can I upload what?"
from the game.
Yes, I can do that.
You know, it's funny that you say that, Vanessa. He has been talking about feet pics a lot lately.
He
Well, you know what? We want to get more patrons, so I feel like
yeah.
advertising our feet pics as a. We should do that just as a joke.
I mean, that's
I
a
don't
pretty
wanna
good,
let people
like, funny
down,
ad
though, you know?
joke. I do. I love letting people down. It's basically my whole life. My kids will figure that out in about 10 years.
Aw, buddy.
What would we post if there was a joke? If there was a joke feet pic tier, what would you
I'd
post?
post
in
my
it?
foot pic.
You
Why not? And they're paying
All
for it.
So we're actually posting feet.
Yeah. Why not?
I'm not.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. What do I care? Look at
Yeah,
my
it's
feet.
just
They're
my
nothing
feet.
special. Actually, when I was younger, when I was like in my early 20s, I remember I was at work and a group of women, I was wearing flip-flops, and a group of women were like, "You have the cutest feet we've ever seen."
What? Oh.
Was there a foot convention in town?
No. it was- they were not customers, they were coworkers. Actually, that does remind me of another work thing at one of the Christmas parties. One of the guys that I worked with was legitimately like, "You have such nice feet." And I was like, "Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
like
Your
it.
boyfriend's here." Also, I'm not into that, but you know, like, be cool. In
Do
two
you
ways.
though? Now I have never
Look
wanted
at these
to
little
see Matt's feet.
tootsies.
But the more I hear about, I've definitely seen Johnny's feet before. And
I don't
there
think
they
so
are
now.
again.
I don't think so anymore. Like, I think my feet have grown and now they just look like feet. I think maybe I had cute feet when I was younger or something. I don't understand it, but I don't know. My gross
Well,
ingrown
seen a
toe
lot
is
of-
finally gone. I finally
Oh, that's
managed to
great.
get rid of that thing.
Was your toe
Took
growing
like
into your
3 months.
foot?
We
Yeah,
need to
that's what an
move
ingrown
on.
toe is, Johnny.
We need
No,
to
we're
move
about
on.
to record for 2 full fucking hours, Jim.
Yeah, I was going to go through my enumeration of every one of yours feet who I've seen, and I've definitely seen lots of Jim's because every time he gets a pedicure,
He
sends us
does.
a picture.
Post
Oh, yeah.
so many feet
Oh
pics.
yeah.
Oh
All right.
boy, that one of Garl like crying and the dragon looking in at him through the thing is creepy.
Thank you.
Fucking
Thank you.
creepy. Oh my god.
I tried to take the best screenshots I can.
Holy shit. Garl's in danger.
That is a good one. I will use that one.
Excellent.
Yeah, let's creep everybody out.
All right, so I feel like we said this 5 times. So Garl's dead.
Garl was
and
dead
now-
to begin with, and it's important that everyone know that Garl is dead, or else nothing that follows will seem miraculous.
What? What are you talking about, Vanessa?
Nothing.
So here's what's going to happen. This cool girl's
A
going to get
Christmas
basically ladybug like pin from a ghost, and then when she puts it on, she's going to, I guess, kind of turn into like a Power Ranger, and then she's going to have a real crush on like a cat boy.
Is this
And-
Sailor Moon?
No, it's miraculous.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I know
That's
what that
because
is,
you're not
though
a
I've never
you're not a
watched it.
teenage girl.
Oh. So, the Celestials will let us across the Sea of Stars.
Is that who these people are? They're Celestials?
Yeah,
Is
from
that
the
their
Marvel
title?
universe.
Yeah. why are we calling them that? Is that what they're called?
I can't remember if that's what they're called, or if that's just what it started to call them.
Yeah.
I thought they were like Sky Council.
The Celestials. It's
Celestials.
Yeah.
It's fine.
fine.
There are people flying in
Yeah.
the sky.
I like their big, like, hovering chairs. What did you guys think about the fact that every time you have to talk to them, they have, like, little side conversations that you can't hear? What's that about?
Well, because if they talk quietly, we're so far
They have to
down.
confer amongst themselves.
And
So this
So,
section of the game
they're
is
like-
just for people that like jerking off to feet, right?
Yep.
so
Feet.
In their Kickstarter, if they got so many contributions, then they threw in a foot level.
Did we
Apparently-
really talk about Yeet? Did we get into it? I feel like we
Yeah,
kinda
we
glossed
did.
over it. All right.
No, we talked about cliche and eat
yes.
and
Yeah.
extol.
And what's his name?
Punty.
Punty.
I like
Punty.
Punty.
Punty. Yeah.
I like
Oh,
Punty.
Punty.
I like
that's
that he
the one I
just
wanted to talk about.
kicks you and plays you like a goddamn soccer ball.
So they're like, we're going to open up the Sea of Stars for you. You're going to have a good time going there in your boat instead of the big cool dragon that you recently made friends with. You have to get back on your
Weird
stupid
decision.
boat.
Weird decision by this game.
Yep, get back on your dumb baby boat and go down the whirlpool in the ocean, and then we
It's
can cross the
between
Sea of
all
Stars.
those thick scroll
Trolls.
statues.
Johnny
Yeah.
says they look like scrolls. I say they look like trolls.
Matt, did you do these? I think you said you did the solstice shrines, but the shrines you have to unlock by changing the weather out in the ocean.
No.
So there are like mirrors in different corners of the map out in the ocean, and
Sounds
if
like
you do
post-game
the-
content, Jim.
It is a little bit. It's like post game content. But you said you did the solstice shrine, but I wasn't sure if you did those solstice.
I did the regular solstice shrines. Those must be something else shrines.
No, I think they're still solstice shrines.
No, because I definitely Googled it, and there were this many solstice shrines, and I did them. There were only like 5 or 6.
Yeah. Well, there's as many as that door. The lights on that door. I think
Yeah.
there's 5 lights on that door.
Yeah. So how
It's
many
not
did
3.
you do?
I think it's 5. I think there's 3 here and
It's 5 or
3
6.
and 2 where we're about to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now we can cross the Sea of Stars in the boat, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's
Two-
incredibly neat. My mind was blown because I had
I like-
forgotten that this was not actually a game from the 90s or early 2000s.
How could you possibly forget that? They're constantly just referencing shit. I like to think that what actually happens here is that these sky people just make you eat a bunch of mushrooms. And then you just sail beyond this tiny fucking set of islands that you've been on the whole time. And huzzah, a new world, a new land.
But it's full of stars.
Yeah,
My
that's the
God.
mushrooms.
You can collect the
God.
stars as the game shifts into full 3D,
What?
which it does
Full
towards the
3D?
end of this. Full,
Yeah.
Fuck.
full 3D.
We get like
yeah.
rapid flashes of the ship, and it goes from like 2D to 3D to 2D to 3D, and then it fixes in 3D and the camera swings around so it's behind it. And we're like zipping 3D. We're like, there's stars under the reflection of the water.
And you're like going through
gathering-
this star tube that looks like
Yeah,
that
there's, like,
kind of
trippy-
80s effect
trippy
that
space effects,
like
yeah.
stuff like bumpers and before cartoons and stuff would have. Would be
Yeah.
like whoosh, whoo, dun dun
Oh,
dun,
Setting
dun.
up stars and gaining speed, and then when we have enough, we blast out the front of the ship, and the horizon shatters
do-
like glass, and we burst through it.
You do basically go to light speed. Just to clarify, because I think we kind of skip by it. So what happens is you're allowed access to the Sea of Stars. You go back down into your boat to the regular world, to the sea. You go to that spot where there are these 4 cool statues under the water that I had seen. We all saw a million times traversing this sea, and the whole game, I was like, "What are those?" I'm very curious. Like it's cool. I like them. These 4, and then once they unlock it, there's a whirlpool there. So you take your boat and you get sucked into the whirlpool, and it pops you out onto this crazy 3D sea of stars, and it looks cool.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even on the Switch, it runs super great and looks awesome. Good job, these people.
This developer was like, it's like 2 guys, right?
All right. I actually don't know anything about them.
Me either.
You know who
I know
does
that they
is
made
Tyler
the Messenger.
Petty. Yeah, Tyler's been like dropping some lore in our Facebook
Maybe
group.
he was. I wonder if he was a Kickstarter backer.
He could have been a Kickstarter backer. He could
Tyler,
have been
what's
one
your
of the 2
coordinates?
guys. Tyler, what's your coordinates? We'll go visit your special special gravestone.
Yeah.
Sabotage Studio is the name. Just looking at the Wikipedia, there's a lot of names.
Oh.
Sabotage does not seem to have its own page, though.
Oh, wow.
Sabotage
How can you even know something is real if it doesn't have its own Wikipedia?
I agree. I don't trust anything else.
This is the part
Matt
where
looking something
Matt
up?
reads the Wikipedia
Yeah.
silently.
All right.
I looked up the website. It's a full team. It's not 2 guys.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I bet there are 2 guys who are on the team, at least 2.
Are
Yeah,
you
that's
going? Are you
what I
guys going
said,
to
I think.
play
The messenger? I think I will, actually. Because it's all about Vardos, Gabalos, Dimdom.
Okay.
I don't know his name.
Is the gameplay style the same as this
No,
game?
it's a side scrolly.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
very
wow.
reminiscent of the Ninja Gaiden games, which I don't like.
I don't tend to like side scrollers because I'm not good at them.
Your fingies
Same.
hurt.
My little thumbs hurt.
You don't like using the swizzle sticks that much.
I don't. My little hands, they're too small and delicate to press the buttons.
I was really hoping.
Okay, but my hands are too fat to press the buttons. So whose hands are these things made for?
15-year-old boys.
Okay, you know what? I think you nailed it.
I was really hoping Vanessa would turn into Let Me Solo Him after the Dark Souls style combat of Dragon Age Veilguard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's always a possibility that I could become like a speed runner, good gamer, good at games gamer girl kind of girl. But then what? I've said this before. I used
But
to.
then what?
But then what?
I used to be
But then
able
what?
to speed run the Super Nintendo Aladdin game and would do that pretty regularly, like before I went to sleep. It's like, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes to
You
get
were
through
one
it.
jump ahead of the postman. 2 steps.
One jump ahead of the postman, 2 steps ahead of your mom, 3 steps.
I like that game.
And I'm gonna call me Tom. I like that game too, as I guess demonstrated by playing it so much that I was able to zip through it.
You know, the Super Nintendo
great
one was
music.
designed by Shinji Mikami.
Well, thanks, Shinji.
Whoa.
Thank you for your work.
Thanks, Shinji Mikami.
It really paid off, and I had a lot of fun with that game. So that's it for this chunker.
Oh,
where
wait. Hold on. Speaking of hot gaming news, I think Shinji Mikami's gaming development studio just got rebuilt.
But he's not in it.
They just
He
announced-
wasn't even in it when it closed. What was it?
But I think I can't remember what it's called, but his studio, I heard it's being rebuilt. Like it got bought by somebody else and they're reforming it.
That's cool.
So that's
That always means that a studio is going to produce really great work.
No, I think this is a good thing actually because I think it got burned or shut down. Anyways, yeah, that's the end of the chunker. Next chunker, we will be finishing the game.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's exciting. I think at this point we've all. Oh wait, John hasn't finished it yet.
Yeah, I have not finished it, but I will work
I
on
finished
it.
John
it.
has not committed to either the true or the false ending, so we don't know which one he's going to get.
Johnny has said multiple times he's not going to. do
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna just do the normal ending.
You can just finish it. Here's the nice thing. I don't have to play it because you knuckleheads are going to fucking talk about it. I don't need it. I ain't got to do it. I don't have to collect all those conches. I don't have to do those extra shrines. I don't have to do any of that because Jim and Vanessa, or as the Zoom says, James Banks and James Banks are going to tell me all about it.
All right, so Jim, what are you squarely against?
I will say that I have complicated feelings about Garl's death in the game. I'm kind of impressed that they actually did it, but at the same time, felt a little bit manipulative. Like
Twitter wrote it.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
Twitter wrote it. You said that when we last recorded. We didn't really get into it this time. But I 100% agree with you. It is fucking manipulative. Like, they make this whole game with all these bland, boring characters to make one interesting character. And they're like, guess what? Guess what? Fuck you.
It is kind of the only character that they really developed is Garl.
I would say we get development out of Garl, Sarai, and Rashawn.
I feel like kind of Rashawn.
Kind
I
of.
feel like
He's
the
that
other character
godly
gets more, I
being
feel
that
like.
you can't really, you know.
And you get more from the girl and the boy, the older girl and the older boy. 'Cause
Yeah.
you know more about their
Yeah, that's
inner
that's-
personalities.
monologues. Yeah.
They have a more interesting game happening over there.
Let's play the bad guys.
Yeah.
Round.
Look at
Yeah. Vanessa, what are you squarely against?
I am roundly for
In
the
the
return of
face.
little mole boy to help make the bread.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that he had his redemption arc. He learned to embrace his inherent power instead of
Mm-hmm.
turn away from it, and became a celebrated terraformer, not only for Garl and our party, but I think for his people as well. Mole boy.
Between the parted
Good for him.
pages is the answer to his never-ending Matthew.
Story.
I hate this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
John, what are you
Reach the
squarely against?
stars, fly a fantasy.
I'm squarely against. No, I'm roundly for baking bread. It was really stupid, but I liked it.
That's fair. I thought it was fun. Like it was. I wanted to eat that bread.
Yeah, I'd eat that, even though it would be soggy in the middle. I would
And
eat
it would-
that bread.
Yeah, let's be real. That bread would suck. You can't make a loaf of bread that big. The
You
bottom would be
can.
burnt to shit. The
We
inside would
talked
be a
about
doughy
this. We
mess.
It's
We
in
can't-
the episode.
We can't keep talking
we talked
about.
about this in the episode already.
Yeah. So
did
Matt, what would you be squarely against?
Dream a dream, and what you see will be. I might listen to that song when this is over. I'm roundly for Garl dying. Yay! I was so glad that it happened. Well, no, let me rephrase that. I was so fucking relieved when it finally happened. Like, just do it. Just do it. Kill him. Kill him. I feel like I saw it coming from the fucking beginning of this game. And, you know, I agree with Jim that I felt like it was manipulative, but written by Twitter. But when it all happened, like, I know that it was supposed to make me feel like sad. And instead I was like, yeah, die. And he died. And I was happy. And that's why I am happy with the ending that I got to this game. Fuck that girl, right? What about you, Vanessa? What are you squarely against?
I already said.
I think Shorty went. You know what I was just thinking about is that
was
if you put an E at the end of Garl's name, it would be like an anagram for the word large.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really even need the E. If you just read it backwards, it's...
It's almost just large.
I mean, G doesn't have to have an E on it to make a J sound instead of a G sound. So it is just large backwards, which is just yet
it's
another
rad.
fat... Oh, you're right.
It's
I need to see a doctor
Lorag.
about this condition.
Oh, all right. Well, as is customary.
No, I want to examine this more. They named the fat kid character whose only real fucking personality trait outside of friendly is likes food large.
But they didn't. They named
They
him
did.
Garl.
They did.
It's one of those
Lorag.
things. Like now that when you notice, you can't really not think.
I
about it.
can't unsee it. It's so fucked up.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Matt. I have a
And
question for you. I
Yeah.
have a question for Matt.
Okay.
What's the next game that we're playing for the show?
I don't think I have to tell you that. It's a secret.
don't?
I've been
You
telling
do
you
have
it's a
to
secret.
tell us. You've been telling us it's a secret for months, ever since
It's
you
a
proclaimed
secret.
that BioWare was dead and you refused
That's not
to
what
do
happened.
it. And
That is true. All right, let's relitigate this whole thing since you want to bring it up. Everybody got to pick. Okay. I have talked the gang, mostly by whining, into doing what I want. I cried a little, which is to play one quick game before we get into BioWare, which is now kind of probably going to be BioArch, because also Vanessa does not want to write notes. And whatever
not
BioWare
yet.
game she
I just
picks,
did it for Dishonored.
whatever BioWare game she picks is going to be 100 episodes. So I'm squeezing in a game. BioWare is dead. Long live BioWare. And the game that we will be playing next is a classic PC first person
Deus Ex.
game that you guys are all going to be really excited. I did buy that today. It was 97 cents.
Ooh.
It has been in the Patreon votes before. It's never won. It's never going to win. I decided to use my game choice privileges to go ahead and pick it for the show. We're going to play Thief, The Dark Project.
Ooh.
It's like Dishonored's grandfather.
I'm going to steal the means of production and the free press.
Thief, The Dark Project, which you can purchase
Holy
on
shit.
Good Old
Thief,
Games.
The Dark Project. Holy fuck. I'm so excited. Good fucking
Yes.
Lord. I have
Yes.
I have the biggest boner right now.
Yes.
And it is ejaculating for it.
He does. It's getting all
Jim,
over his
pile
mic.
on, pile on. Vanessa, go.
No, I'm uncomfortable.
I'm fine with this choice. And that's the highest praise anyone could ever expect from someone like me.
Thief the Dark Project is a 1998 first-person stealth game. It was developed by Looking.
Old. Oh, it's gonna look old.
Yeah, it looks real old. It was developed by Looking Glass Studios. It was published by Eidos Interactive. This is not the shitty Square Enix reboot that came out a few years ago. This game...
Eidos had some great games back in the day.
Looking Glass had some fucking great games back in the day. I'm really excited to finally play it. I don't know if it's got like a great plot, but it definitely has like an interesting plot, and it's not your typical JRPG special boy saves the world. You know what I mean? Also, Looking Glass also published System Shock 2.
And they were the devs behind Ultima Underworld.
Yeah, Ultima Underworld. I think it is going to be a good fun time. It is a proto Dishonored. It's a stealth action game. It is not the type of game where you are going to run around and fight all the guards. It is the type of game where you're going to sneak around and be a sneaky boy. This game, I don't know if it was the first game that ever did this, but it used some pretty revolutionary light and sound mechanics. Your footsteps were a big part of it, depending on the terrain that you were on. If you're on carpet, you're so quiet. And if you're on a metal grating, oh boy, they're going to hear you.
Didn't you say there are like moss arrows that can help silence your steps?
Yep, you get moss arrows that you can shoot in front of you to silence your steps. You get water arrows that you can use to shoot out torches to give yourself more shadow. I honestly, Thief 2 is the game that I played a billion times. Thief 1 is a little rougher around the edges, but I think it is going to be a good fun time, and it's a pretty funny game. It's much like Dishonored. It's the type of game where you're going to want to listen to the guards as they chit-chat because they say a lot of stupid shit, and they're all dummies, and it's a good fun time. It does look like shit. I did play the first mission and a half today. I'm about 2 missions into this game. For the first chunker, we're going to play the first 3 missions, but that doesn't really matter. Maybe 4. We'll see. It's about 15 missions. So, Thief Gold is... When this episode releases, I do not know how long it's going to last, but it is 97 cents on Good Old Games, and it runs just fine for me. So I'm really excited to play Thief with all of you. I'm excited because Vanessa is going to love it. She's going to become obsessed with it. She's going to play the whole thing. Jim's going to use cheats and blow through it. Johnny is going to take twice as long as the rest of us and get really mad about it. Mm-hmm. You ready to save scum, my friend? You're going to want to scum those saves.
Do I have to use keyboard and mouse to play this game?
Yes.
Or
It's
can
old.
I play it with a controller?
I
Keyboard
don't
and mouse.
know.
Jim.
I'm
It's
using
a
keyboard and mouse.
It's a
Using
keyboard and
keyboard.
mouse
Okay.
game.
I had to
keyboard
rebind
and
the
mouse.
keys when it started because it was that old school first person where your A and D, instead of being strafe left and strafe right, are turn left and turn right. Nobody uses that game. Like, that's not how it works. But you're able to rebind the keys. And this is the Thief Gold is what we're playing, which is the Game of the Year edition. Has a couple extra missions. A little more fleshed out story. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good, fun time. And I'm really excited to finally be playing it on the show and to be able to talk about it with you all. I was playing it today,
stuff.
and I had to save scum so much that I was getting mad at it. So it's going to be a good time. It does allow for ghost-style runs, or no-kill runs at least. So I know that Vanessa will be excited about that.
I love that.
It does not have the modern conveniences of like dark vision that lets you see where everybody is on the map. You just kind of have to listen real good and figure out where they are.
I need a detective
do-
mode. I need a dark vision.
Yeah, I do recommend playing. Well, it is more lenient though. Like somebody sees you and like you can just run away and you can ditch them. It's fine. Or you can just kill them. It's not a big deal.
Oh, that's a huge deal. Murder? What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're just a thief. You're not a murderer.
They're not even anyone, Vanessa. It doesn't. The police said it didn't even matter.
Police said it didn't even matter. I do recommend playing with headphones. This game did have some revolutionary sound at the time, like 3D as in 3-directional sound. So you can pinpoint where people are based on the direction of their footsteps.
3 directions:
it's-
left, right, and up.
Third dimensional directional. I don't know. I do recommend using headphones. It will make it a lot easier. That's our next game. Mm-hmm. Secret revealed.
Sweet.
I feel like something's been taken from me.
You
Good.
liked the power. And that's something you're going to have to
Oh,
consider
yeah.
about yourself.
Yeah, I guess so.
So let's move on to our final segment, which is Level Up. John,
Whoa.
I would like to know how you leveled up.
John saw Wicked.
Nope, I haven't seen Wicked.
You said it was the best movie of the year.
No, I saw this movie called The Substance. The Substance.
The
Substance. It's a
Okay.
movie about women. It's about how women's bodies are perceived.
You sure it's not about substance?
the substance is the male gaze.
Wow.
And it's about Demi Moore. And it's about Andy McDowell's daughter, who plays a young Demi Moore. And that's all I'm really going to say about it, is Demi Moore is turning 50, which I don't like because she was a grown-up when I was a kid. And I'll be 46 this year. She's not 4 years older than me. Anyway.
So she was not a grown up when you were a kid, is what you were saying. Is what you're saying.
No, in the movie, they cast her a bit younger than she really is. But she does look fantastic in it. But it's about her being tossed away as a celebrity because she's 50.
Yeah. How do her feet look?
You see, Jim, how much would you say you see of Demi Moore in this film?
She's
More than you
total
expect?
nudity. Total nudity.
Yes.
More than
Complete,
you've
like full
seen
body
before?
nudity.
yes.
Full body nudity.
Every piece of her from her head to her toesies.
Yeah.
It's all about the objectification of a woman's body and the judgment of a woman's body.
Whoa.
And it's really good. It's funny. It's weird. It's like David Cronenberg-esque, and the weird body horror is at sometimes disgusting. There's a lot of needles, so yeah. I really think Vanessa should watch this movie though, because it is, I think, the best
want to.
film I've seen this year or this past year.
I genuinely want to, and I'm thinking about using some of my credit that I acquired through various purchases over the holiday season to rent it.
Yeah, you should. And we want you to live tweet into our group chat your thoughts about the film. It was entertaining because Jim watched it after I did. It was entertaining. As he was watching, he's like, especially the chicken leg part.
Yeah. It's interesting that Dennis Quaid was in one of the best movies of the year, which is The Substance, was also in what people say is the worst movie of the year, which is Reagan.
Oh, yeah.
Dennis Quaid's
what a
like
roller coaster of a
like
year for Dennis Quaid.
Crazy Trumper, right? That's his deal.
Yeah.
And his
Hey,
son,
think of any
Jack
actor
Quaid,
that
is
you
not-
liked in the 80s or 90s.
Bruce Willis. He couldn't.
Crazy Trumper.
He couldn't be a crazy. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah. He's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but he's not
Yeah.
active.
Bill
politically.
Murray?
I don't
Crazy
see Bill.
Trumper.
No, there's no
Yep.
way, Bill.
100%.
What? No, I
Yep.
don't. I'm not believing you.
Okay.
Anyway, Matt. Speaking of Matt's opinions, how did Matt level up?
Okay. So I did want to quickly talk about that book series that I have mentioned a couple of times. I read the entire trilogy. It was called the Lycanius trilogy. It's by James Islington or Islington. I don't know how it's pronounced. He's British. I did end up reading the whole thing. I think when I first brought it up on the show, it was a lot of complaints.
Pronounced
but
Worcester.
A lot of complaints, but I did say that overall I was enjoying it, and I did end up reading the entire trilogy, and I did overall enjoy it quite a bit. It is extremely derivative and doesn't have a lot of what I would call like new ideas, but it does some interesting things with the tropes that it uses. It has some fun kind of time travel stuff baked in. I think that he writes really compelling characters for the most part. A couple of them were a little boring, but the main cast were pretty engaging and entertaining. And I think that the plot was really good overall. Again, it's pretty derivative, but so it's a weird thing to say, like it's really derivative, but also really good. But it was like, without getting into big spoilers, like it had some really interesting ideas. It did some good. It had a ton of really hooking twists and turns that kept you turning the pages. And I thought that the end of the trilogy was super well done and touching. Like, I really loved the way it all wrapped up. It worked perfectly. It was a very good series. So if you were in the mood for a good old-fashioned trilogy of fantasy novels that is wrapped up and you don't need to wait 10 years for the next book, check out the Lycanius trilogy by James Islington. I don't know. Is he an island? Is he an island? Who knows? It was really good. I liked it a lot.
He's a James. He is an island.
Island. It was really good. Like I guess if I had to rate it, I would rate it like a 7-ish out of 10. You know what I mean? Because it was super derivative in some ways. But hey, you know what it didn't have was any of that like Chosen One, Prophesized Boy stuff. Even though it did have a lot of like
Chosen
prophecy
One.
stuff.
I'm coming.
It wasn't really like a Chosen One plot. Pretty predictable, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I tore through that series. Well worth the money I spent on it. Speaking of books, I started a book called Pines. Y'all heard of Pines?
Is it
With an
like
exclamation
Wayward
point
Pines?
at the end.
It is the trilogy of books is called the Wayward Pines trilogy. The first book was called Pines. I bring this up only because I made it about halfway through the first book and was just like, I can't do this. That's not.
That
This ain't
TV
working
show
for
had
me.
a good reveal. I liked the reveal of what was going on in that first season.
It was just it's a little too dark and dour for me. Like, just everything sucked, you know? And like, I get enough of that in the real world, and that is not what I turn to for my fiction. That's not like a value judgment. People like that, but very much not for me. I did, though, find a book that I think Jim might be interested in, though I have not read enough yet to really give it my full-throated recommendation. But I found a book called Fragment, a novel. And that is written by Warren Fahey from about 10 years ago. And it is very much like a...
Is that Jeff's brother?
Nope. Scientists find an island full of monsters and have to figure out what's going on. And there's a lot of thriller, horror style reveals. It's more in the vein of what I was looking for when I bought the Pines.
Is it like kind of in like the Relic territory?
I would say it is more. It is that Michael Crichton, Douglas Preston,
Yeah.
Lincoln Child style. Like,
Ooh, I kind of want. What's it called again?
it's called Fragment. The premise is that a reality television show that like searches the high seas for adventure runs across this island that's unmapped, and scary things happen. I will
love
say
a spooky island.
it does ditch that reality show stuff about 50 pages in, which was perfect because that was the one thing that was holding me back on it, where I was like, I don't like this. And then they ditched that. And now it's like, now we're going to do science. And now I'm super into it.
Ryan Seacrest
might check that
explodes on page 35.
Definitely. I'm only about 100 pages into it, but it has quickly turned into a page turner for me. It is, Jim mentioned Relic, which is a book that I really love about a monster that is loose in the New York Museum of Natural History, I think. And I think I compare that to Jurassic Park, like monster sci-fi, kind of near sci-fi monster thriller, horror, mystery. Anyway, the Fragment is good. I'm enjoying it so far. I haven't finished it. Maybe I'll hate it by the end, but right now I like it. And the one other thing that I did is that I purchased, I don't remember if I mentioned this on the show because we've had some weird episodes, but I learned that the Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remasters that I have been extremely excited for actually released on December 7th, like 4 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago when I realized it. So obviously I jumped right on that, purchased that, and have been playing Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. And as much as it hits that nostalgia button for me, it is very much reminding me how shitty like 90s adventure style games were. Like, it is fucking rough. It is rough to play. I don't mind the block puzzles so much, but it's one of those games that just... It doesn't have the elegance of like a Zelda where like it doesn't do the Fable 3 thing of like showing a shining trail of breadcrumbs to tell you where to go next, but it tells you where to go in the context of the game. And Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver does not do that. A voice from the heavens is like, go to the temple. And you're like, what? Where? What am I supposed to do? I get lost in dungeons
I do want to
constantly.
play that remaster of The Thing.
Okay, well, maybe that can be your level up. I don't know.
I'm just talking about level up. I'm sorry, man.
I want to play that. I want to play that too, but like I didn't like it. I didn't like the original, so I was like, am I gonna not like the update then?
I bet you won't. Jim, I'd like to hear your thoughts on Soul Reaver. Why don't you chime in?
Like I'd never played it before, but it was a game series that I'd always wanted to play. And so I bought the remaster, and I think I stopped playing it after maybe like an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. The first time I got lost in that first like series of dungeons, I was like, I don't have time for this. Yeah. Also, the writing, like the opening cutscene is so
cheesy.
Like it's written by like an 11-year-old goth kid. I had beautiful wings, and the head vampire was jealous of them.
Yeah. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver is a sequel to Legacy of Kain, which was a top-down style Zelda game from the night, like a PC game from the 90s. It's pushing my buttons enough that I'm still playing it. I definitely have gotten lost a few times, which is really frustrating. Like these levels are big, but not full, just big, big and empty. And boy, use that right trigger to look up button, because otherwise you're never going to know where to go, because they're constantly like hiding the next door behind a fucking, I don't know. It's obnoxious. It's just not well designed, you know? I do really like the vampire apocalypse setting, where like it's thousands of years in the future and vampires have basically sucked this planet dry and are dying, and it's neat. It's a unique setting. But can't really recommend it to anybody. So that is how I leveled up, and I don't remember who kicked us off.
I've gone.
Johnny did.
Yeah.
All right, Jim, why don't you level up? How does that sound?
Yeah, like I said, I also played some Legacy of Kain and wasn't super into it. I did just finish a playthrough of Mass Effect 3 after I finished Mass Effect 2, so that was fun. That game plays beautifully on the Steam Deck, by the way. Super fun game, even though it had some weird narrative things that we've already talked about. Let's see, what else did I do?
Did you fuck that snake?
No. You can't romance Thane in 3, can you?
Didn't Vanessa romance Thane?
I romanced Thane. I sure did. I kissed that snake.
She hooked up with the snake right outside of Kaylin's hotel room.
Because I got together with Thane in 2. And then when I saw him in 3 in the hospital, he's like, "What's up, babe? I'm totally dying. Like I said, I was in 2. That wasn't just a lie to like get you in bed." And I was like, "Oh, that sucks." Turns out my ex-boyfriend is like in this hospital. He got real hurt. And he's like, "Oh, are you going to go visit him?" And I'm like, "Not before I visit you." And the best part is with the like Citadel DLC, you can have a big funeral for Thane, and then Caitlin has to go to it and see you, you know, mourn your ex-lover.
I forgot how funny that Citadel DLC is. Like, I was in like a firefight in one of the levels, and Glyph, that like VI, is following you in that archive level. And the way you interact with it, like, there's this part where you yell, "Glyph, lower the enemy's morale." And it's like, "You have 15 seconds to live." And you're like, "Take that." It's pretty great. Good stuff. I think that's pretty much all I did. I'm working on another playthrough of God of War Ragnarok too, just because that game's really good. Got to get into my comfort games. I would like to hear about.
Well, I'd like to hear about Nosferatu, but I would also like to hear about werewolves.
Werewolves.
Oh yeah. There's this movie that Matt and I have been talking about for the last couple of months called Werewolves, about a supermoon. Starring Frank Grillo, and it's about a supermoon that turns anyone exposed to it into a werewolf on the spot. And so the movie takes
So
place
it's like a
1 year
disaster
after.
horror movie.
Kind of, yeah. It takes place on the 1 year anniversary of the first supermoon event, when they say like 1 billion people were killed in werewolf attacks around the world. And
Awesome.
so it's Frank Grillo plays, one of the reasons why this movie's stupid. Frank Grillo plays a scientist, like head of the head of the like super immune security science task force or something, and it takes place on the 1 year anniversary of the first super moon event, and they're trying to see if they can give people a medication to like curb the werewolf attacks, and guess what? It doesn't work. And so Frank Grillo has to make his way across like the city of Los Angeles during a big werewolf attack to protect his family, who's being sieged by werewolves. Pretty stupid movie. I didn't think it was that fun. Frank Grillo is fine, but
Who's Frank
there's like
Grillo? Vanessa, do you know?
He was, I think he's been in a bunch of stuff, but you may remember him from Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. He was kind of the reverse agent that Captain America fought in an elevator with a bunch of other guys.
Yeah.
he played like what's his name?
Crossbones. He
Crossbones,
showed back
yeah.
up in Captain America 3 only to get killed in
Yeah.
the first 10 seconds.
First
of the movie.
first 10 minutes of the movie, yeah. But yeah, he's like the only person in it who's doing any real acting. And the werewolves look pretty okay. There's a lot of them, and they're all practical, which is cool. But I thought the movie to be pretty boring, actually.
It's too bad. I was excited for that one, and I was excited for this new one I think it's Wolfman or Wolf. But then
Yeah,
the more
the Wolfman comes out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, the more previews I see for that, the more I'm like, this ain't what I'm looking for in a werewolf movie either. They just can never make a good werewolf movie. I don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, I think... Wait, what else?
I also really would like to hear about Nosferatu.
Pretty good. It's... I don't know. I liked it, and it looks great, and everyone's doing a great job, and I think Count Orlok is really interesting and fun, but it didn't feel like there was any suspense going on in the movie. Like, it just kind of like told you everything that was going to happen. And so there wasn't a lot of tension in it, I didn't think. But it was a fun movie. Willem Dafoe is really good in it. I don't know. It's fine. It's not.
It sounds
amazing,
like you
but it's
didn't
fine.
love it, which is a bummer.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but I mean, it is a really good-looking movie, and the Count Orlok has a mustache, which is pretty funny. So,
Okay.
Vanessa, how did you level up?
Thanks for asking, Jim. I've been watching a show on Peacock called Laid. This is a dark comedy show. It's half hour. It stars Stephanie Sue, who was the daughter in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She is a great actress, and it's a very funny show. It's about a woman whose ex-boyfriends all start dying in the order in which she slept with them.
Oh, no.
And it's sort of about her coming to terms with her past behavior, but also a mystery as to why this is happening and whether or not it is a supernatural thing or something else. And it's pretty funny. I've also been playing a lot of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle still. I played the sort of big third act set piece, which I think that Jim in particular would be really into because it was creepy and cool. And I'm still enjoying it. I probably did a little bit too much of like finding all of every single little thing.
But that's how you level up, right?
Second big episode. Yeah, that's how you level up, but it's not necessary to do, and it started to feel like a little bit of a slog, especially because it was set in Egypt, which, I think they did a good job of recreating the big landmarks, but it's a lot of dust and a lot of rocks and a lot of brown. So I was happy to move on from that area. But
That's the area I'm at now in my playthrough.
yeah, and it starts to feel like a lot, I think.
Yeah.
I also accidentally played it on super hard mode because I missed where you can pick up a Nazi uniform disguise, and so I had to sneak through this huge Nazi camp without it, and that was
I
tricky.
did that same thing. I did the same
Oh,
thing.
did
I
you?
was desperately looking for that disguise.
I had to
and
look
just
it
had
up.
to-
I was like, where
How
is
many
it?
Nazis did you end up knocking out?
A lot.
I fought a lot in that last section. Like there's a part where you have to get from one end of the Nazi camp to the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a uniform, so I was like sneaking, and eventually I was like, I'm just gonna have to fight like 15 guys, I think.
Yeah. And the combat is pretty forgiving, but you can get overwhelmed pretty easily. So it's not easy to
Yeah.
take on a whole bunch of people at once.
Yeah. But like using the whip to disarm people and then quickly picking up their baton and
Yeah.
then smashing them with it was kind of my go-to.
It's fun. I think that it is so far the best Indiana Jones movie that I've seen in the past couple decades. So that's something.
I played a bit of that. I played a couple, like an hour or so. I got to the first like main level, and I like it a lot. Like I'm definitely gonna be revisiting that. How much of it would you say is it a stealth game?
Yeah, I would say so. Actually, I think that it really encourages.
Yeah, I
it
think
wants
it
you
is,
to be
too.
stealthy.
It's really interesting to take like a big franchise and to put it in what I would call like I don't know how to phrase it, like a less.
A niche genre?
Yeah, it is kind of a niche genre,
Yeah.
right? Like it's weird. Like I love stealth games, but like it's not a sports game and it's not a first-person shooter where you shoot every boy. So
Yeah, it makes sense because Indiana Jones doesn't
Yeah.
really go around shooting a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't want you to play that way either, because you can definitely like steal machine guns from Nazis and then use them on the Nazis, but you're gonna get gunned down pretty quickly because as soon as you start using your gun, everybody else does too.
Yeah,
And
Interesting.
I
so-
actually appreciate that the enemies don't tend to use their guns unless you shoot at them first.
Yeah, if you're unarmed, like they're not usually gonna touch their gun at all.
now, does it have Nazis? Because what little I played, they were very
Yeah.
clear that you were fighting fascists.
Yes, it has Nazis and fascists, and
Fascist usually refers to the Italian
Yes.
Yes.
part
Yeah.
of the Axis.
and it has Mussolini himself makes an appearance. That was exciting.
He does.
What?
I know.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Mussolini.
it's like
You
a
get
Mussolini.
He's in like 3 cutscenes.
And I've also been watching Squid Game Season 2, which I've been enjoying.
Whoa.
I've seen some criticism of it as to, like, why make a Season 2? What was the point?
Cash grab.
And it may be, but I think so far it's well acted. It continues in the themes of sort of being a satire of Korean society and the class divide there, and I think it's good so far. And there's even more fun new Squid Games to play. Yay!
Oh,
Well, they have
have
different
new
Squid Games.
Yeah, they have some different Squid Games.
Oh.
And some returning favorites.
Like do they do the sugar cookie thing again?
Honeycomb.
I haven't gotten to that
Honeycomb,
part,
yeah.
but they very well might. I'm still sort of mid-season.
Oh, okay.
And finally, I watched Juror Number 2, which Jim recommended, and I did not like it.
The rural juror.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I thought it was not realistic. I thought it was too long with too many disconnected scenes. And
Did you feel like it was written by Twitter?
I felt like it was written by Clint Eastwood, which I don't think it was, but it was directed by him.
Yeah.
Really good cast. Like, I don't have any complaints about any of the performances, but it just didn't quite work for me. And I have a bad habit of when I'm watching a movie, like imagining the movie I wish it was, and then getting mad that it's not that.
Is there any yelling at an invisible Obama sitting in a chair?
Fortunately, no.
Yeah, I would say no. I would say as far
I-
as like politics go, it has very little to no politics. But I wouldn't say
Yeah.
that the black characters in it are fully realized people. either.
That is, yeah, I completely agree with that.
One woman who, because it's about a jury, and one woman on the jury who just keeps saying, "I have to get home to my kids. They need me."
Yeah,
And, like, that's her
and
whole personality.
the other one is the guy who runs the youth
Yeah,
center
he's like,
downtown
"I run the
and
youth center."
knows all about the local drug
Yeah.
dealers.
So there's the single mom who's upset to be there, and the youth center drug dealer guy. So
Yeah.
that's not so great in that.
Also, frustratingly little Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, he's in it.
I
for
feel like
no
he has
reason.
and for like all of his scenes last like a minute and then he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? Did he just not have time? Like,
Yeah,
give him a bigger part. He's Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. I did think it was interesting that they set it in Georgia because so much is filmed down there, but so little is actually set there. And that did give Toni Collette her opportunity to use her best Southern accent.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm Toni Collette. I'm from the South.
Yeah, there's a wide variety of like who chooses to or does not choose to use a Southern accent, and then how thick those accents are. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I feel like there weren't a lot of accents in the movie.
Yeah, so it makes kind of
Toni
Toni
Collette
Collette more
was
jarring.
kind of. Yeah, there was like, and a lot of people say like, "Oh, I'm not from here." Like, what's the old guy's name? J. Jonah Jameson guy.
Oh yeah,
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons. He's in it, and he did not have an accent.
Yeah,
either.
he's
I don't feel
like,
like he'd be
"We're
able to
from
pull off a
Boston."
Southern accent. Yeah.
I have heard that Southern is the easiest accent for like British and Australian people to do. So maybe that's part
Oh,
of
that's
it.
interesting.
But Nicholas Hoult doesn't do a Southern accent, and he's the lead in the movie.
No, yeah, that's weird,
Everything's
too.
coming up Holt this year.
Everything is
This past
coming
year. I know.
Hoult. It's the year of the Holt.
Yeah. Yeah, Nosferatu. He was in that white supremacy.
It's
movie
like like that one year where Jude Law was in 10 movies.
Yeah.
Or Sam Worthington.
Ooh, he sucks.
Yeah.
All right, and that's how I leveled up. Thanks for not forgetting me.
All right, well, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. Before we take off, I'll remind our listeners we do have a Patreon at patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast. You can find all of our great mini hours, mini days worth of bonus content on there. Square Roots versus episodes. We've got some movie commentaries, some movie discussions, level up episodes. There's a lot of stuff on there. You can get access to all that stuff at the $3 level. At the $5 level,
I
you
like
get access to
the plug for it's like, well, we have some movie commentaries and some movie discussions and other stuff. We
And
play a
other
lot of
stuff.
video games. We do a lot of video game stuff. It's a video game podcast. We do a lot of video games.
But we want more people to listen along to the movie commentaries. I'm not convinced that anyone ever actually has.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, gosh, I bet.
You know, it's just an
I
excuse
know,
for
they're
us
the most
to...
fun to do, though.
Yeah, they are
know.
super fun to do.
Yeah. But at the $3 level, you get access to all that. At the $5 level, you get access to that content plus the ability to vote on games we play on the show. Sea of Stars was a vote winner. Well, it'll maybe be a minute before we have our next vote, but because we got a couple games to get through. But there will be another vote.
If you listen to any commentary, listen to the Red Eye one, because we trick Matt into thinking that movie has a vampire.
for like most of the movie.
Yep.
Too.
But it's not just that we told him there was a vampire in it. We accidentally let slip the spoiler that there was a vampire in it, and he got so mad that we spoiled it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a very good movie.
I
And
like that movie.
maybe a vampire show. Well, you know what? Maybe the fact that I thought there was going to be a vampire
Yeah.
and then there wasn't made me dislike the movie. I just wanted to quickly point out as well that we did release a best of 2024 episode recently, and that the gang did lie about everything that I liked this year. So,
So you didn't like PUBG.
bunch of liars. Bunch
You
of
didn't
fucking
like
liars.
Merv
I think
and
I've
Power-
specifically said 100 times that I hate PUBG. I hate it.
You didn't like Monk Fantasia or whatever it is you're always talking about.
Monk Fantasia. That's the one with Tony Shalhoub.
And Tony Collette. All right, well, no matter what tier you subscribe at, we like to personally thank some of our patrons on the air, and I'd like to kick us off this week by thanking Keysby Knight and Kodab Games and Addicted to the Smell of Natty Ice and Ross Hartley and Huxley Iguana and Seth G and Chris Sasaki and Chris Penyak and Gage LaCharite and Ederal.
And I'd like to thank Ann Knopford and Stephen Paget and Butcher Pete's Sharp Salami and Seattle Sounders will host Paris and Madrid in Club World Cup, and World Childress and Star Healer and Jaybird and Tyler and Johnny Five Alive.
I'd like to thank Eric Garby, friend of DeSoto, Aaron O'Toole, and Josh Rose, and Ryan Schmidt, and Jason Timms, and John V. Quick Rootman, and Cyril the Wolf, and Aru, and Andy Best, and Doomtrain, and David Green.
And I'd like to thank David Arnold and Angel and Sean Walsh and My Battery is Low and Brian Hassel and Tracy the Board Queen, who got a special birthday
Happy birthday,
shout
Tracy!
out. Yes!
Yay, happy birthday!
We originally recorded this Patreon shout out on your actual birthday, Tracy, but now it's 2 days later. So double birthday shout out, one lost forever that you will never hear. And Ian Frederick and Garl is Steven Universe and Cerulean
Facts.
and Bumpkins.
And send us an email.
Yeah, send us an email to squarespodcast@gmail.com and maybe we'll read it on
And
the air. Who knows?
gmail.com.
Depends on how interesting it is. And squarespodcast@gmail.com.
And
and yeah, squarespodcast@gmail and com. Come join our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or be skeet at us at squarerootspod.bsky.social.
Hey,
Don't tweet at us because we're done there.
Yeah. Why don't you review us on Apple Podcasts
And
Spotify and Ghana
and
a bunch of other services. Anywhere you can leave
Google.
a review. And Google.
And-
Google. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our theme. You can find Stephen Morris on YouTube. Check out our links in the show notes.
And it's time for us to get a new theme song.
What?
Okay.
I'm tired of this one. What do you want from me?
Wow.
Thank you, Stephen Morris. Bye.
Wow.
All right, for Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
And I'm Matthew Van Zant.
And I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Vanessa and
Bye.
And bye.
And bye.
Around.